where they talk about it. It's called that.
I remember as a kid, I kept up with LA Law, so I would have been down.
So it's an oral technique, essentially, is what it is. Tunneling is.
Damn, Peter.
Yeah. So, unlike Batman, apparently, if you remember that from a couple of years ago, where the DC was like, Batman does not eat pussy or something. Peter does.
And he's telling you he does.
Good for Peter.
He's being very upfront about it.
So, I kind of
I'm going to eat your pussy. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
This is them saying Peter can get it.
Right.
I'm gonna fucking munch down on that. I'm gonna yummy down on that box for about an hour until you just fucking come everywhere. Okay, that's what's going on in Peter's.
And the door closing says plamp. I've never seen that one before. Plamp.
Yeah,
that's a new one.
Well, there was some moisture on the door. It made a weird noise.
And look, they got a couple of hours to go. She goes, "I'll take 2." So they're going to do it twice. He's going to give it to her twice. So she'll take 2 of them.
Meanwhile, Daredevil could never last that long. He'd be hearing everybody screaming for help and stuff.
What was it called? The Venus
butterfly.
Venus
butterfly.
Z.
I want
Venus butterfly. He's also wearing like his Hugh Hefner smoking jacket. It's like, what is happening here?
Now think about the fact that very intentionally the original stories of Spider-Man, or Peter Parker in particular, him having this being able to shoot webs. He built the thing himself or whatever, but like the web shooter, he shoots these webs. This gunk comes out of him, and like there's literally a couple of points early on where there's gunk like seeping under the doorway. When Aunt May's like, "Oh, what's this gunk? This white goo?" Is like there's very clearly a puberty thing going on there with like the allegory going, and it's like now this is what Peter does.
This is the evolution
under the door. It's not coming from Peter.
Right, the evolution of it.
So this one power is really a piece of tech that Spidey wears on his wrists that fire a high tensile web substance, unless we're talking the Raimi version. Ugh. I know it's an allegory for puberty, but we really didn't need organic web shooters.
So this is where Bully Maguire came from.
The secret origin unlocked.
I'm lonely. You weren't there for me.
Look at little MJ Jr. Gonna cry?
Welcome to every video we make. We use one little thing and then we build the narrative out of it. Brie Larson says one fucking thing and we make a whole video out of it. That's what we do.
Words are flowing out like woke Mary Sue, objective truth. They don't mean much, but nothing ever does across the grift of a...
All right, you assholes.
You can pick up the softback trade paper.
The what now?
How do you do, fellow kids?
The f***ing what? Hello, everybody. Welcome to this show. I have sad news. It seems that Eric Bunks has been canceled, and I don't know if he's good. Oh, wow. He's able to join us. Let's see what's going on. Hey, man, you're risking it, huh?
Risking it for the biscuit, I guess. I don't know.
And also Bob's here.
The wheels on my chair are broken, I think. I'm going to have to get some, what is it, WD-40 or whatever it's called?
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yes, you've been canceled, right? Seems like by YouTube.
By Melanie Mac, maybe, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I had 2 advertiser unfriendly things go off on my channel, both for Melanie Mac videos, which is, it's weird because her videos are still getting the video that I made about her video is still getting ads, and the other one that I made about her was a tweet that she made about Marvel Rivals. So there's no video reference for that one from her, so I don't know what that's all about. But it's just weird. Those are the only 2.
I do find it like wild that like she can monetize her shit, but like you debunking her shit. Well, that's not terms of service.
Yeah, well, that's the weird thing is it wasn't a it was specifically an advertiser guideline restriction, right? Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like they were saying that I had done something community wide that So like if I had said something that they deemed like inappropriate in the sense that what I was saying about her crossed like some community guideline, it would have been a community guideline strike, right? That would have happened, and then I wouldn't be able to stream or pretty much do anything on my channel. The other one is a copyright violation, which you can just trim that out of your video. Typically, that's what happens. This is specifically an ad revenue thing because they're saying it's unfriendly for advertisers. But like you're saying, Bob, the topics in my video were directly related to the stuff from her video. We were talking about the same thing. And on YouTube, if a video is being restricted by YouTube, whether it's community guideline, terms of service, whatever it is, if you hover over a thumbnail and the video doesn't autoplay under the thumbnail, that means it's being restricted. So you can tell, like if you go, because I talked about it in my video, if you go to a video and you hover over the video and it doesn't autoplaying, then YouTube has restricted that video. Sometimes they tell you, sometimes they don't. But what that typically means is the video is not getting promoted through YouTube. And this is something that's been like that for a while now. And I checked on her video. Her video is still autoplaying, which means that hers is not restricted, but mine is not autoplaying, which means that it's confirming that the advertiser restriction is affecting visibility, because they don't want it to autoplay, because autoplaying is linked to, if a video autoplays, that means like if your video ends and you have your account set up to just play the next video, it will autoplay someone's video, like promote that video. So if the autoplay is turned off on that video for like hovering over the thumbnail, that means it does not autoplay after someone's video.
That allows them, plausible deniability that they may be hosting your video, but they're not like pushing it.
So that's one of the issues we have, is that there's a double standard from YouTube, and I've said for a while YouTube is part of the problem with what we're dealing with here.
Absolutely.
That she can go on her video and accuse gay people of being gay because of sexual abuse, right? That's
demons or whatever the fuck it says this week.
Demons, all kinds of things, whatever she wants to say. And her videos get promoted. Matter of fact, that video that I responded to is the biggest video on her channel in like 3 or 4 months in views. So
that means she's going to be doing that more than great.
Yeah. So the thing is, hers is definitely getting recommended. Mine is not. Now, I'm not going to get as many views as her on a video on average. That's just not going to happen. But what happens is when they do this, it's not even just about the ad revenue, because ad revenue for stuff like that ends up being like a couple bucks, right? So that's not a big deal. What happens is it's a censorship of the channel. Basically, now that my video has been suppressed because of the ad revenue restriction, it doesn't show up in people's recommended. Right. So it's suppressing my channel.
Videos, right? Like who knows how that factors into the algorithm and how much it's going to promote or not promote.
Right. Video. Well, yeah, because if you get enough of those, YouTube determines that your channel's probably not worth promoting, and so you end up not showing up in the algorithm. So basically what I'm saying is it's really important for you guys that are watching now. We've got over 50 people right now on all the channels. For everybody watching now, to not only leave comments under our videos. I know it's a hassle, okay? I get it. It's a hassle. But like leaving a comment saying like, love the video or thumbs up or something to help YouTube see that our content is the content that you're engaging with. That's a big help, because one of the things that community does that's annoying but also very useful is they rally. They rally a lot. And that's one of the things that we have to work on as a community, is rallying behind channels that we support.
The messed up irony there is that they don't even understand that that's what they're doing in a way.
Right.
Like they understand they're rallying, but they don't realize that that's a large part of, like, because I've had so many people try and tell me how the algorithm, if I thumbs down your video, that means it's gonna, people aren't gonna watch it. Like, dude, you don't understand this at all, do you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they don't understand how the algorithm actually works, and yet they do the actions necessary to support, the content in the algorithm.
I think a lot of the guys on those channels just kind of indoctrinated their viewers to do things, and they don't know why they're doing it. So,
I mean, yes, please do.
You could. Yeah, well, you can any comment you leave, even if you went on my video and you say I hate you and your video is dog shit, that doesn't matter. It's just engagement.
True. Yeah,
I mean,
the engagement is engagement to YouTube.
It's going to get a bunch of responses, because that's even better.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I was just explaining that engagement is engagement. I don't know exactly how the algorithm works. It won't surprise me if a thumbs down is less valuable than a thumbs up, but they're both good. They're both going to help you.
Well, if you go to places like Social Blade, right, and I know people get triggered by Social Blade, but if you go somewhere like Social Blade, they only keep track of engagement as a metric. They don't keep track of like what the person said in the comment or whether it was a thumbs up or a thumbs down. They just keep track of the engagement because that is the metric that matters the most. Look, if YouTube cared about quality, the Chud channels wouldn't even exist.
True.
So it's not about quality. It's just about how many eyes are on something.
We are blessed today because, usually whenever there's a comment, and that's often the case that there's some comment from somebody that wants to just argue with the stream title before the stream even starts. You know what I mean? But they hardly ever stick around after they leave their comment and run off thinking that they won. However, today we have this is a starred comment. This is before the stream. I imagine this is in reference to the Sinners movie, right? But Joe is here now. He's here. Thank you, Joe. Could you explain how you figured out that this movie is not DEI? What would that entail? I'll take your answer off air.
Not DEI.
Yeah, like what?
Ryan Coogler is amazing, by the way. I don't think he's not made one bad thing. So
I am still not a fan of Black Panther 2, but I'm willing to accept there's issues behind.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably a low point for him in terms of being creative, I guess, because of everything that he had to do.
If they made did they make him make that Marvel? You know what I mean? Like, did he have to still?
I don't know if there was a contractual reason, but I don't think he would have not made it. I don't think he would have I can't imagine there's a world where he's like, we're not going to do a tribute to Chadwick.
I mean, look, the best part of the movie, other than Namor or Namor, whatever Airtolai calls him, is just the beginning, not the beginning, because the way they kind of handle and he's dead now off screen, that's kind of lame, but like the kind of funeral procession, celebration of
I was about ready to say, it's lame that it's off screen, but like that got tears from me, man. That was
as a stand-in for celebrating Chadwick Boseman. That was just fucking phenomenal. Well done.
But I mean, Fruitvale Station, Creed, the first Black Panther, and now Sinners, all fantastic fucking movies.
I've not seen Sinners yet. The first couple times I heard of it, it was from people that were desperately trying to get me to see it without spoiling what it was really about. But we're probably gonna have to end up talking about that, I guess, if anybody's not aware that there is a big twist in Sinners. If you somehow haven't heard about it yet, it's not the first movie to do it. In fact, I think it's just the second. But yeah, it seems to be very popular films with everybody. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about Last of Us 2 or Last of Us season 2, episode 2. That's what it is. And the response to that, we're going to talk about Gary and his kind of weird review of Daredevil Born Again season 1.
See, it was good, but it's not good anymore, guys.
It was good. It didn't stick the landing, and it's curious, just why? What did it not do right?
Well, did it get woke?
I guess so.
I mean, my criticism of it is that I felt it left too many loose threads.
That was my biggest criticism.
A little bit more.
Well,
I wanted to wrap up Bullseye.
It was originally supposed to be 18 episodes. They split it in half, and now that's the producers even said that season 2 is more like a continuation of season 1. So it's like I can accept the loose threads based on that, knowing that we're going to get it. I think in March of next year, before Avengers is what I'm pretty sure that they're trying to avoid. Is doing it after whatever happens in Avengers. June. So,
yeah. But I will say overall, I thought it was quite good.
Yeah, I believe anything that's going to happen between the two Avengers movies probably needs to connect to that somehow, which is why they're probably not going to do that, if I had to guess.
I mean, I guess if we're arbitrarily comparing black filmmakers who have seen a lot of success with original IP, which I guess it's not really arbitrary. It's just, but it comes down to preference at that point.
Yeah.
Objective stuff completely.
I mean, we could just say that Ryan Coogler is an incredible director and leave it at that. I think that's
I think they're both incredible directors. I guess I've never compared them, but I guess I would say I'd like to see Jordan Peele do more than just horror. But I don't know, they're both great.
Well, it's interesting that it doesn't mean that, because a lot of content creators on YouTube seem to think that's exactly what it means. I've seen DEI said about people like Samuel L. Jackson. I've seen, which is fucking crazy if you're saying that it's about a meritocracy. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. Right. He's good.
Right, but you understand that was your comparison, right? We didn't make that comparison. You did. That's what we were pointing out. That's all. That you compared the two guys.
You haven't seen any of his. Jesus.
So if he's not, hold on. Can we go back to that other one here?
Yep.
This one. So what was the reason you compared them then? I'm just curious. Why did you compare Jordan to Ryan? If it's not about being a black director. What was the? I just want to understand. I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just curious to what drew you to that comparison. Because they don't even make the same kinds of movies. Matter of fact, this was Ryan's first movie that was like a horror movie. So
yeah, this is the first movie Ryan did that would be similar to something Jordan Peele does.
Right. So look at their response.
Film that was an original IP, I think.
Look at the response. I just like. I mean, I'm glad you're being honest, but I don't. Then what does that other comment mean then? Jordan Peele's not a good black director; he's a good director. Period. So, but you made the comparison, which is what the joke we were making was. They're both black, so.
Hey, I'll go ahead and say it. I think Ryan Coogler and Jordan Peele are better than Tyler Perry. I'll say it.
Yeah. Oh well, I disavow that. I'm not going to get into the Tyler Perry discourse.
What's frustrating is if I've seen some evidence here and there that Tyler Perry might actually, if he really tried, could make like a more substantive film. Maybe I don't know, but
Tyler Perry has he's carved out like a little niche, loyal audience. So.
He has an audience. Yeah,
it's crazy to think that like he's still like I think as far as I know still getting success. And it's just over in this corner where like most people aren't aware.
Look, I totally respect when someone who is not hurting anybody and they're just doing their own thing is able to make money. I just go ahead, I guess. I can't watch any more Medea films though. Sorry.
I've never seen one.
I've seen like 2 or 3 of them. With
listen,
some friends.
Like
never
when I worked for the newspaper, cover the big movie of the week, and now it's sometimes a Medea movie. God damn it.
It's been years since I've watched one, so I don't even know what the new ones are.
I mean, we could get into this, but we're not going to. But I just want to say that I think that's a very weird bias to think that horror movies have been around for a long time. I'd say since they predated edgelords being anything popular or that were well known for the internet for sure. So
I mean, there are some horror movies that are catering to edgelords, but not all of them.
What's his name? What's his name? He plays the Bear Jew in Inglourious Basterds. Eli Roth.
Eli Roth.
Yeah. I also think the Saw movies have now like sort of catered to that audience. Just the extreme like edgy, like how can you kill this person in the most disgusting way possible now, devoid of story.
And I like James Wan and Lee Winnell. Of course, they've left that franchise a while ago, but yeah.
There is I see what you're saying. I would just say also, Spooky Kitty, that because you don't watch them, because you have decided this, that you're definitely missing some that don't fit that.
I mean, this is kind of whenever I don't have a massive opinion about something, it's usually because I'm not really engaged in it. Yeah. I think that we would all be better off, and I'm not targeting Spooky Kitty here, but I think we'd be better off if we didn't have such strong opinions about things that don't affect us. I really believe we'd be a lot better off.
Dude, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. In fact,
I have a strong opinion about something I'm definitely not engaged with. Great. Let's hear it.
So it's on that note, like it's kind of weird that these guys on YouTube have such strong opinions about movies and the color of the people in them and stuff like that, and the color of the people making them and whatnot. It's kind of weird. They think that affects them somehow, as if they feel like there's some kind of replacement happening or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I do think it's wild to be like, hey, this movie sucks. Let's talk about it ad nauseum for like a
that
year.
Is fucking bizarre to me. I can't I cannot sit. I mean, a 5-minute conversation, if I just was really looking forward to a movie, like really looking forward to it, and then it turns out to be just complete ass, in my opinion, I could probably have, god damn, my dogs are barking. I could have probably maybe a half-hour conversation about that, and then I'm just going to be done. You know what I mean? like with other people that felt the same way.
I
Generally.
mean, also at a certain point, all it does is it becomes like a circular argument. It's just people arguing about the same stuff over and over and over again, which is why Yellow Flash is coming.
I'm
on bated breath. I'm ready to order it tomorrow. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, these absolute books. Let's get that.
What is it? It's about like this little black girl that like doesn't have any color in her life, right?
No. That's Drunk 3PO's book.
Oh my bad. Just
Yellow Flash's book.
Yellow Flash is a different guy than Drunk 3PO.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yellow Flash's book is a ripoff of basically Power Rangers Sentai type stuff.
Oh God.
It's called Golden Patriot for those that like golden showers. You've got Golden Patriot.
God.
It's a yellow like Power Ranger guy that I guess is time displaced in World War II, I think is what it is. And he fights for the American military.
Oh, so an original idea. Okay.
I think that's what it is. But it also doesn't look unique or different or special. And I mean, it's kind of part of the course. So what we see from these guys, this comes, all of them, including Eric July, okay, is that they just copy other people's stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's just everything is a derivative version of something else.
And now,
but they complain about Miles Morales and other people taking titles, but then the only thing they can make is derivative shit. So
you came up with another name, and it's also really stupid and doesn't make any sense or mean anything. But at least I don't know. That's different. Good job, man.
Listen. You guys got me to Google this, talking about it, so we all have to share this shit now.
Yeah, that's it. That's the character.
Over-rendered.
So nothing says I jerk off to the American MAGA stuff more than like holding an American flag in the middle of like a storming of the beaches. As I guess a Japanese Power Ranger character.
I guess
I have like, if this were a comic, so say for example this were an idea from like Marvel or DC, I would never even read this. It'd be something that I would completely avoid.
I see this on a comic shelf, I'm like, yeah, what's next to this?
The only way it could ever be something I read is if I find out later on that somebody's like, no dude, that's actually really just a parody and you should read it because it's fucking hilarious.
I don't think so. I think it's taking itself very seriously. I believe it's probably very serious.
It's capable of being of self-parody, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think these guys.
I mean, let's be clear. Let's be clear here. Yellow Flash is a internet character. He could have made a character based on his persona, because he is basically a character. He could have redesigned it, come up with like this character that's like fast, that has some sort of weird. Because you can make a fast character. There's no like trademark on a fast character. So
on Yellow Flash, I think there is.
No, not call it Yellow Flash, but like a character that's super fast that has like yellow costume or something. That
a character that's super fast for yellow costume. That's an original idea. Nobody's done that.
Right. Well, this isn't original either. I mean, so
the design of his costume looks kind of Egyptian to me. Is that you seen that?
Which is really confusing considering the American flag.
I want to know why
like a mishmash of ideas.
Why he's wearing like a crop top? Like, is it trying to show off those juicy six pack or whatever he's got down there? Not totally sure. The anatomy is crazy. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, did Rob Liefeld draw this? This is ridiculous
compared to Liefeld. But like it is like somebody who got into comics and like a lot of people did, like I'm sure all of us did in that time period, but never kind of grew out of that style and actually thinks it's the best thing ever, even as an adult. And they like dedicated themselves to drawing that fucking ridiculous style as best they possibly can. Because I mean, it is competent in a lot of ways. It's just stylistic. Absurd.
I just don't think it's very like the composition is bad. It's like a very boring picture. Like there's nothing dynamic about it. Do you guys remember back in the I don't know if it was like the late 70s, early 80s, but John Buscema put out like How to Draw the Marvel Way. It was like a book that showed you how to do all the tricks that Marvel does to create dynamic poses and things like that.
It was Sal Buscema, wasn't it?
It was Sal. You're right. Great book. It's been years I've seen it, but the thing is, it shows you like how to make an impactful picture for like a cover or a panel in your comic book. And I think a lot of these guys that are doing like modern art could still do what they're doing, but they could definitely use a course in how to make their composition more dynamic.
This right here, man, like the anatomy is one thing, because comics, whatever, it can go either way. The style can be very stylized and have weird anatomy and still be good. But as far as the dynamism, these motherfuckers don't seem to get what make comic books exciting.
Right.
When it comes to the images, they're almost never any kind of like,
because they're not good at what they're like. What are the chances? Let's just put this out there. What are the chances that every dude bro who criticizes Marvel and DC is going to be good at making something? What, like, they can't all be good. They're not all going to be good at it. We've already determined that people like Critical Drinker is not very good at making movies.
Right. Whenever they
Eric July's not very good at making good comics. They might make money, but they're not good comics. Like, we've already determined that.
Does end up making something, it ends up being like, I don't want to say objectively, but
so all of these guys collectively get together, and all of a sudden they're like, savants in art. Like, it just.
I think this is why Comicsgate has so many, just like so many projects unfulfilled and that don't get completed and stuff like that, because I think these guys start out thinking, oh, I could do better than what Marvel did, woke stuff or whatever, and then they start doing it, and they even on some level themselves realize I am not good at this, and they kind of just don't have the fucking wherewithal to see it through because they realize they suck. That's a guess, but
and to be fair, like the thing I can't imagine doing is having Yellow Flash guy on my comic book. Right? Like, if I was putting out a comic book, I would want my name on it, like my actual name, or something other than a derivative name, generic name. Yellow Flash 2 is his channel name. Was it going to be Yellow Flash 2 comic? Like, it just, like, forever now? Like, say, for example, this ends up being something that he makes and continues to make for years, right? Your legacy is going to be a comic book made by someone named Yellow Flash.
Yes.
That's crazy. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, we know that he couldn't make a good one back in 2005. It's kind of curious. All his buddies are making comics. Why doesn't he try it again? I don't know.
I will say this looks better than Nerdrotic's comic book attempt.
It looks better than a lot of Eric July's comic books too. I think the artwork, it looks competent, even though I don't like it. It looks competent to me. Most of Eric July's stuff does not. So I think in that regard, there is one benefit, but I think the story's going to be shit from what I've seen so far. It sounds too much like Golden Shower, so I'll never, ever get that out of my mind. Golden Patriot, Golden Shower. DJ Bear Superhero inbound. No, because I'm not a comic book creator, so I don't think I'd ever make one. I could draw a singular picture of a character that I think is cool, but I'd never consider myself to be like somebody that could write a full comic. Maybe I could, but I would never do it in spite of the industry. If I did it, I would do it as a passion project.
So I need to go ahead. You know what? When this stream is over, I'll finish editing it and get it uploaded. But yeah, we did look at a comic that I found that Gary did with his wife, I guess, in 2005. He had a little comic book publishing company that he tried to launch, and they got like 4 or 5 issues out. And it honestly is what I would expect my friends who were into comics in like middle school or high school to present to me whenever they made their own comic, or myself, back then when that's probably almost exactly what they look like. It's what I drew before I stopped drawing and started getting into music. It's pretty bad. And like, he actually was trying to make this a thing back then. I'm pretty sure this was post prison. But anyway. Yeah,
he was a youngin' in prison.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. That is true. That's actually
all right. I'll pull it up. Hold on a second. And then we might as well, I guess, talk about Gary.
Could you imagine if he wrote his comic in prison? That would be quite interesting, actually. That might be more interesting than...
Yeah, it probably would be a lot more interesting.
It's kind of weird that he capes for cops so hard.
That's true.
Yeah, that is weird.
We'll get to
Big
that,
Man Comics, Gabe L. Taib's comic book company. No, I didn't look at that shit. Hell no.
Let me see.
I try my best to avoid bad comic books.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I almost never talk about comics I don't like, because for the most part I know what I'm gonna like, and if I'm reading like a run on something that I normally like the character or whatever, and it's just not a very good comic, I don't even really spend a lot of time thinking about that.
You mean you don't create videos attacking the person that drew it and the person that wrote it? Oh, okay. I thought that was normal behavior.
But if it's somebody I respected and then I feel like they're taking a turn and they just can't make a good comic,
can you imagine?
I'll just quietly stop.
Could you imagine, like, you have a restaurant that you love in your town, like an Italian restaurant, and you haven't been there in years because you had one bad meal, and then every day, multiple times a day, you're on the internet, you're attacking waiters and the kitchen staff and stuff like that because you used to eat there all the time. You don't eat there anymore, but you have to constantly talk about the people that work there, which is what these guys do. It's essentially just getting mad that these people that are employed by these companies are doing things they don't like. It's so fucking stupid.
All right, here we go. We can look at Comic Collector Live still has these listings. Here is Dark Legion by Gary Buechler. Is that right, Buechler?
Ooh.
Is that how it said?
Dark Legion. That sounds very 90s.
So it's about Professor X's son?
Oh my God, this looks...
I mean, on so many levels, it fails. And it's like, look, I've made comic books that definitely look worse than this. I used to make comics, at home and stuff like that when I was younger, but I was also like a kid, and I didn't ever try to put them on the internet for sale.
Right. By the way, GP, you can talk about things you don't like in a fun sort of tongue-in-cheek way. I think it's like there's a lot of channels I know that talk about bad movies because they have fun talking about bad movies. They're not doing it in spite of or to attack the people that made it. There's actually a couple of channels. Okay, so a good example is The Room, right? So that's not a good movie. It's so bad it's good kind of situation. But most people, but a lot of people appreciate Tommy Wiseau, right? They think it's great that he did what he did, and he's become sort of a cultural icon because of that. But that's not what these guys are doing. The ones that we're talking about are not doing that. They're not doing this out of love for the art form. They're doing it to attack people.
So this is interesting because you remember we looked at was it Spingy? Was that the character's name? Spingy?
Yeah, Spingy. Yeah.
Was just a copied pose from an iconic Spider-Man pose, and so is this.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a trace. This has to be traced over the pose.
Yeah. Like why is he doing that?
He couldn't even edit the fucking fingers, so it's not the Spider-Man pose fingers.
Nope. So he had to do that. Yeah, leave it as is.
Who drew this? Did Gary draw this?
This is Gary, yeah. This is his name right here, Buechler, 98.
Oh, I just didn't know if he was the writer or the artist. I didn't know.
So it says Buechler 98 or 96 and 03. So like I know that there was another comic they did where it's at least the cover of it was by his wife, and it's a pretty good cover actually. She clearly had some talent. But she had drawn that in like 89. It says on the thing. It's like a thing she drew in 1989, and then they were putting it on comic in 2004.
He says he didn't draw it; he traced it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's true. Like, in fact, I think this is kind of McFarlane's thing.
It is.
He have role, right?
Yep, 100%.
Holy shit! Wow, Gary. Wow. 2 issues and it was done. That was it. Now look, at least it's tagged as an homage cover. So
yeah, but homage wouldn't mean that his hands would be shaped the same way. Like
that's exactly what the problem is that the fingers is a dead giveaway that this is just a rip. Like by the way, anybody that wants to, it's like, why doesn't Marvel sell the comics like they're not making money like they did in the 90s? This is why.
Yeah, this is all these different. I remember when this came out, there was 25,000 different covers for this. It was
like, oh, this is great. I was a fucking idiot.
Look, collector's item. This is why Eric July does what he does now, because of dumb stickers like that. Issue number 1, collector's item. Like, that's
holy
why.
Shit. Yeah, there's just so many. Or I guess this is just, how many were there? There's C, D, E, F, H. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I loved cover W4.
And the thing is, they're not different enough to be that, like, why would you collect all those different ones? They're just slightly different shades of silver and gold.
Usually when you do variants, you get like different artists to work on them. This is just like, let's just re-ink it.
Gary's a regular Greg Land. Hey, Greg Land has improved, and he has stopped doing such obvious tracing. He stopped tracing pornography, it seems like.
Is he the one that did all the women that were like...
Yeah, all the women would be like porn woman's face. He's like mid-orgasm. And
here's Sue Storm looking like she's riding the D.
Yep. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. Where's my dad? All right. So there's that. Well, let's talk about Gary and his dumb fucking review. Let me find that actually because I don't have it pulled up.
Well, since I wasn't too familiar with Greg Land, I brought up this image real fast.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, have you not seen his stuff?
Yeah, I mean, when you look it up, I remember it's just all of it is like his worst. Well, yeah.
Like it's so obvious that there should be a dick right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's...
Oh, that D.
Oh God. Jesus, dude. What the hell?
No, Greg Lane is super talented. He did the Wolverine and Predator comic last year that was very good, and that's why I was like reading. I was like, wait, this is Greg Lane? Because I mean, he does have these stylistic things that are obviously him, but it was not traced shit.
This is what we could have had in the Fantastic Four, and they took it away from us.
They took it away.
Fucking got heard enough of the criticism and the mockery, and was like, okay, if I want to continue working in comics, I need to stop doing the tracing shit.
Vanessa Kirby could never.
He got better. Well, I mean, I think he stopped not trying, basically. All right, so.
The reality is that people in the comic book industry have always used referential stuff, but the porn stuff is always funny to me because the faces are the worst. Like, it's
yes.
Lindsay Lohan is Sue Storm.
So it's weird that there's just several examples that could be the review.
Right. Which one is it?
I remember the title I saw was clearly negative.
And guy, please remind me. We cannot forget to talk about the stream title of the streams they were doing today. Should we do that now, or
do it before we forget about it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Holy shit! This is
the Kathleen Kennedy one. Is that the one you're talking about?
Oh God.
I don't understand. I mean, maybe I'd have to watch the video.
They can't determine which grift they're going with on this one, so they're just trying several different things.
Well, that's what's sad is they know they can basically say anything with Kathleen Kennedy, and they'll their audience just eat it up.
Yeah, their audience will lap it up. They could say literally anything.
That is a hell of a claim.
She's been fired since 2020. She's been the ghost head of Lucas since 2020. The ghost head.
I think I titled one of my videos something like that as an obvious joke.
Well, you know who I didn't watch this, but I saw some of the clips. Apparently, this is a Chris Gore rumor.
Right. Kind of like how he knows for a fact that Marvel they fired all the activists.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck that
definitely
means.
did.
Yeah. Chris,
an activist to them is just somebody that has a different opinion on social issues.
It's the downfall of Chris Gore has been so weird. He went from being kind of a weirdo sort of movie review guy to being just one of the biggest perpetrators of misinformation in the grift space.
Mm-hmm.
So you expect us to believe that Kathleen Kennedy has been pretending, they've had her pretending to be the head of Lucas since 2020 until now.
The kind of narrative structure that you'd have to build to support a claim like that.
Well,
just even to make
also,
a claim
that means they've been attacking her for 5 years for stuff that she's not been doing.
Yeah,
wait,
true.
So
She's completely innocent.
Made a whole episode about her when she wasn't even the one to blame.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so there's no responsibility on their end to be like, we shouldn't have been attacking her for 5 years. She wasn't the head anymore. We need to find out who really was in charge, because that's the person we need to blame. Because their entire narrative is that she's lost. Hold on. When did wait a minute. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out, when did the last Star Wars movie come out? Was it 2018?
2019.
Okay, so the last one that she was associated with in the film division that she made over $4 billion for them with, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was fired after that, after she made them $4 billion, before all of the bad stuff came out. That they would say that the Disney Star Wars TV shows that came out after 2019, right? All of those.
What if they're trying to do this so that like whoever takes over next, they can actually start lumping all the shit that they've already said is bad, and they already have the audience already hates. They can say
maybe. You know what, Dane? That's probably what it is. But the thing is, that would mean that she's not responsible for any of the bad stuff, other than the movie parts, which financially made over $4 billion for them.
They owe her an apology, then, you know. I mean, I guess not, because what was she doing playing this charade, this pantomime of being the head of Lucasfilm this whole time? You know what I mean? So no, she's actually evil.
Why would she continue to be the face of a company that they have been attacking so full on for 5 years?
Her. She's not doesn't have the job anymore. Presumably, he's not getting paid for the job anymore, unless you know.
I can imagine a phone call went like this. Yeah, Kathy. Hey, it's Bob over here at Disney. I know you just made us over $4 billion on those movies with Star Wars, but some of the guys on the internet didn't like it. So what we need you to do is we need you to pretend to work here for the next 5-6 years, and we're going to have other people making decisions, and we're going to pay you your full salary to not do anything. Does that sound okay with you? Yeah. Good deal.
Do you think that
definitely a phone call that
he's aware of it, but do you think he's actually receiving abuse or has received any of the abuse that they throw out? Absolutely not. Like, she probably once or twice now and then will get on and see, or has somebody telling her that generally this is what's being said, but she's not sitting there reading the fucking comments and watching the videos or whatever. Absolutely not.
Kathleen Kennedy doesn't strike me as somebody who really cares. If she heard about any of this, it was people telling her about it. I don't think she was on YouTube looking up Kathleen Kennedy fired. Like, I don't think she cares.
They probably almost certainly would tell her about the death threats that I've seen plenty of.
Probably, yeah.
About, how she needs to be taken out, stuff like that.
I mean, the mental gymnastics you have to go through to believe this is just. This is a level of. I don't even know if it's cognitive dissonance at this point. I don't know what it is. It's a level of idiocracy, I guess you could say, that we just don't. I mean, is their audience this stupid? Is what I guess the question I'm having. Like, are they dumb enough to believe this? Because this sounds so pathetic. Like I said in my video about them the other day, like, they are very worried. They're concerned. There's a reason why they're doing this. Spoiler alert. I've got some information that is absolutely shocking after I did some math about the state of Nerdrotic's channel and why they're probably doing these kinds of videos. So,
So real quick, before we move on, I just want to say, you asked the question, is the audience this stupid? And Eric, you've read the same comments I have.
Yes.
What do you think?
I mean, probably.
And by the way, if you're in that audience, you're watching right now, and you think this is stupid, that they're making this claim, and you're like, hey, I don't believe that. Then you need to ask yourself what kind of content you're watching that thinks you might be that stupid.
Right.
Okay? And before you think about, make sure to give this stream a thumbs up and leave a
100%.
comment.
If you're not that stupid, give us a thumbs up. I appreciate that.
If you are, well then, I don't know, do it, or I'm gonna, send my woke army after you.
Since we're talking about why they're doing this, I think it might be a good time to tease what I'm working on and give a little teaser, a little build up for it. So I'm working on a video about the decline of some of the Chud channels, particularly 3 of them, which is Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, and Geeks and Gamers. Which I was actually shocked because I thought Geeks and Gamers was doing well, but the reality is, Jeremy's political channel is doing well, not so much. Yeah. The Geeks and Gamers channel, right? And I've done some numbers. There's a lot more to work on here. The video is not going to be long, but I am going to deep dive into some other stuff in regards here. But what I want to do to tease this video a little bit is I want to give you guys the 3 channels, Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, Geeks and Gamers. I want to give you guys a bit of information that I've uncovered about them, specifically about the month of March. This is a small teaser, but there's more in my video about them, and I think some people might be shocked about this. So let's start out talking about Geeks and Gamers. Let's do them first. So I did March 2024 to March 2025. Okay, Geeks and Gamers in March 2024 uploaded 30 videos to their channel. Now, these were kind of clip videos, live streams, things like that. They're all part of their channel's ecosystem.
Honestly, the laziest content possible. I fucking hate content creators who do that.
They gained, in the month of March 2024, they gained 10,000 subscribers, and they got 3.1 million views on their channel. That was the month of March for Geeks and Gamers. In March of 2025, they had an upload/stream of 25 videos, which is 16.7% less than March of 2024. However, the real big red flag for them, actually, let's do views first, and then we'll do subscribers. So on views, they actually did not suffer too much in views. They had 2.98 million views, which is only 3.9% less than what they got in March of 2024. However, subscribers was the big one. So March of 2024, Geeks and Gamers had 10,000 new subscribers over the course of the month. In March of 2025, 1,000.
Whoa.
So there's a 90% decrease in new subscribers from March to March. For Geeks and Gamers.
I mean, yeah, that's wild. Who's got a super chat here?
I think that's Bob. It's not mine.
Have you all discussed how neither Nerdrotic or Critical Drinker have made a video review of Sinners? That was something we were discussing.
We're going to discuss.
We have a Sinners discussion coming up.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it.
It is interesting, especially for Critical Drinker, who primarily reviews movies. Nerdrotic doesn't do that many movie reviews, and they're usually just cringy. Well, it's all
only if it's convenient to his agenda. You know.
Yeah.
Critical Drinker does movie reviews. He will review random movies, and now the biggest movie out there right now.
It's got like 98%.
Not even a live stream.
Unanimously, pretty much. The audience and the critics are in agreement on this movie. It's crazy.
All right, so let's talk about Critical Drinker then. Critical Drinker in March of 2024 uploaded a whopping 5 videos in the month of March last year, and he gained 60,000 subscribers.
Wow.
He got 55 million views in the month of March in 2024. March 2025, he uploaded 5 videos as well, so he's consistent, the same amount of uploads. However, he only gained, keep in mind, he gained 60,000 last March. He only gained 21,600 this March, which is a 64% negative subscriber growth. Same month, a year apart. Same amount of videos. He got 55 million views in March of 2024. He had a 62% decrease in views in March of 2025, down to 20.9 million total views.
Whoa.
So same video output with a 64% decrease in new subscribers and a 62% decrease in views for a Critical Drinker. And now we're going to be talking about Nerdrotic. So Nerdrotic in March of 2024 had a total of 25 videos on his channel, uploads and live streams. In March of 2025, he did 18. So slightly less, not very much difference there. However, he gained 52,000 subscribers in March of 2024. And he saw a 77% decrease in subscribers of March of 2025. He only gained 12,000 subscribers in March of 2025.
Now, remember, this is a guy who hit a million subs last year.
Oh, and that the slowdown on that is going to be crazy. When I talk about it in my video, the slowdown on that from where he went, and like to put this in perspective.
I think even those numbers you're talking about last year, he crawled over the line to that. It seems like,
Well, the thing is, he had a big day in January of 2024. I think it was like the 2nd or 3rd of January, where he gained 75,000 subscribers in one day.
Damn.
Jesus.
Okay. And it was because of his year of woke video from 2023, at the end of 2023 going into 2024, that caused his subscribers to spike at 75,000. And then slowly climbed up to that number that he's at now. And let's talk about his views, because that's the last thing here, and then we can move on. His views in March of 2024 were 30 million. His views in March of 2025, 6 million.
Whoa.
That's a 75% drop-ish in viewership from one year to the next. And these are raw numbers. Like, this is not me making any statement about what the video's quality was, any of that. These are just raw numbers that anybody can go online and get.
I want to stress that this has never been more justified than it is right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm gonna keep in mind that I'm looking at smaller channels as well. Some of the other like circular, orbiting chud channels to make for this video. But those are the 3 channels I'm focused on, because I believe those are the ones with the largest voices in the chud space. So
yeah.
So what I think is interesting also is because you're comparing March of 2024 to March of 2025. And I was just like, what came out in March of 2024? And there's some noteworthy movies. Probably the most significant is probably Madam Web, but they didn't gaslight that one. March of 2025 had Snow White, which is something they had been gaslighting the shit out of. The fact that it is so much lower returns for them.
Well, that's what I'm pointing out, Bob. So like this whole Kathleen Kennedy thing that they're doing, and these ridiculous pedantic complaints, they are actually, and I know that you might go, well, 12 million subscribers, that's a lot or whatever, each month. It is for another channel. Like if you're a channel that is growing and you're gaining 12 million and you're in the green, that's good. But these are channels that have a certain level of production quality that has to go into their products, like their thumbnails, their editing, all of that. When you were seeing a 77% drop in viewership and in subscribers in a month period, month to month, that is a problem. Because the numbers, like if I were to say, oh, well, I gained 10,000 subscribers this month, you don't know what that comparison is to last year. So if Critical Drinker were to say, oh, our channel's dying, but we got 12 million new subscribers this month. Yeah, bro, but you got 55 million last time this year. So there's a difference. It shows a trajectory. And the trajectory for them is down. It is down across the board. Matter of fact, I looked over the course of a year, since March to March, like the whole year, he's actually made more videos for less views. Wow. They pumped out more total videos in a year period between 2024 and 2025 compared to 2023 to 2024 when they saw the most growth, and they've gotten less return on those videos. And in my video that I'll be making where I'm talking about this, I'm going to go over why I think that's happening. And I have a few things that are going to be going on. So anyway. Oh,
that's why I say Dane rage quit.
So anyway,
my favorite YouTubers.
Yeah, I want to point out that they're still gaining subs, they're still gaining views, but they are in the negative. They're in the negative from where they were last year.
Yeah, which is if you understand the basic fundamental thing about capitalism, which this is definitely an extension of, is that you have to keep growing. That's why, like, if a company makes it a shitload of money this year and makes that exact amount next year, that's a bad year for them. The next one, even though they made it, because they need to make more. And this is the same thing with these guys. If you're not growing constantly, then you're failing essentially.
So that's just a little teaser. So hopefully by the time we stream next week, my whole video will be done and I'll have all the numbers out there. So,
all right. Well, so Gary, speaking of Gary, he does say one word in his review that I watched for Daredevil Born Again that it just popped out, that he seems to have this on his mind a lot. I don't know. He thinks about being cucked a lot. It's weird.
He really wants to be cucked by Frank Castle. That's for sure.
Like, honestly, I've never really thought about being cucked or like, whoa, I don't want to be cucked or anything. That's never crossed my mind. So it's weird that he, just anytime a guy is not the clear victor in some situation, he seems to think, or just maybe he's not, he doesn't choose to do a violent thing or something like that. But let's check it out and see what he qualifies as.
Yeah, being cucked. I've not seen this. I just saw the title. I was just like, oh.
Call it, all right? Because I'm like a rock, son. Oh, you like a rock, huh? Yeah, I'm a rock. I don't move. Okay, then let me understand this correctly. You are like a rock. But a rock don't.
First of all,
I'm so just exhausted by Nerdrotic's idiotic comedy intros. They're not even funny. Like, there's so much you could do with an intro. It's just
the thing is that the general public agrees with you, which is why he's losing viewership. So,
the reason he does this is not to be funny. He does it because if he actually just showed this clip, this very same scene that he's got, it's actually a fucking great scene. It's actually the two of these two guys, anytime they're on screen together playing these characters, it's fucking electric. it's going to make anybody want to watch that shit. You know,
well,
so he's got
I've said that every little insert he does on his videos is to create an emotional response, like the canned laughter, like the stuff you see in sitcoms where people are clapping in the background and stuff. All of it is to create. It's to set up the emotional response. So when he swoops in and starts talking, you are primed and ready. He went in and he fluffed you. He got you nice and hard before he's going to give it to you. So
he might even be good. It's not even good. I'm so not good. I'm going to make fun of it, and then we're going to talk shit on it.
I mean, he plays these clips, and then like he will edit, he'll add goofy sound effects, and it all makes it sound bad. Where if you actually watched a lot of this stuff, it's actually totally decent.
Is that what this is? A Mad TV sketch? Jesus.
Listen, man, Mad TV definitely had some rough years. Not as rough as Nerdrotic's career.
I mean, it belongs to Disney and Marvel, I believe. So, you know. Oh, you're talking about like the edit, but I mean, the thing is if it's a channel smaller than his, then they're going to be fine with it because they're good platforms.
Well, I don't care what you call it, all right? Because I'm like a rock, son. Oh, you like a rock, huh? Yeah, I'm a rock. I don't move. Okay, then let me understand this correctly. Then you are like a rock, and a rock don't move, huh? Rock move. I come and put you back. Okay, so you want to do this now? Yeah, I want to do this right here. Yeah, let's do this. Let's go. What the hell are you doing, man? What you mean, man? You just grab.
I mean, is he just
I did not notice
the fact
the first time I watched this. I did not notice those inserts there. Weird. Did you see that?
The butt slapping from Deadpool. Yeah.
I don't even know why you would think of that in this scene. They're clearly not being friendly to each other.
Well, I'm watching this comedy version of this scene. It's like, what are you making fun of the fact that like these two have warring ideologies? Yes, they're both vigilantes, but they have very different approaches, which is something they argue about, which makes sense.
I think that he's trying to indoctrinate his audience into being gay. That's what I think it is. I think he's trying to indoctrinate them.
I mean, he's definitely trying to indoctrinate them. I mean, I think
what? It wouldn't surprise me if there's plenty of closeted people who watch his channel who are
1,000%.
You don't have to be ashamed, guys.
1,000%.
Be yourself.
There is no doubt in my mind that and I would not be shocked if some of the people on the panel with him are not in the closet in some way or another.
They do give off signs where it's like, bro.
Up my ass. I was about to kick your ass, man. You didn't kick it, don't grab it. Okay.
This is just so stupid. Like, what the fuck?
Let's go.
Ha, he really gave it.
That was so funny.
Is that all based on just him grabbing him as they jumped over the ledge? You mean like, saving his life as they jumped over and the fucking... Is that what that's based on? Because I don't see anything else that you could even like stretch a gay joke out of from that scene.
I actually think it's funny that they can't prove that the scene is bad, so they make it bad in his video so that you'll think it's bad.
I've always said, it like just show the thing that's bad if you think it's so bad.
Yeah.
And you'll notice that he doesn't really do a lot of that in his review either. He just spends a lot of time telling you that if something is bad without really explaining why. At least Drinker will sometimes go into some level of detail about his stupid logic why something is not good.
If there's a scene like that I think is really bad in a movie, I remember I used to, when I did my more edited videos, play that scene and then explain why it doesn't work, and then do goofy versions of that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I don't know that Frank had a lot of choice. Matt just grabbed him, but good scene. That's really all it is. If it's so bad, and these are guys, he at least hangs out with somebody that believes movies can be objectively good or bad. So just do the objectively bad thing, man. Just show it.
Nerderotic.com.
Greetings, you over 1 million Hellions and the 40% who haven't subscribed yet. Yes, we're back to talking about Daredevil Born Again, but this will be a very different video from my last one because, quite frankly, Marvel is screwed. If you recall.
That's not
really.
So no. It's not Marvel screwed. It's you that you're screwed because you're finding out that talking positively about something doesn't bring in new subscribers and new viewers, which is why your channel is suffering.
Oh,
that's the reality of it. So now you have to force yourself to complain about a show that you probably enjoyed.
Yeah, so let's talk about that because he says he enjoyed it for the most part. He was actually actively liking it until for whatever reason I watched almost the whole thing. I don't understand what changed his mind, but we'll see.
All in my last review for Daredevil Born Again, I was cautiously optimistic. I was going to see how Disney Marvel could move Daredevil and Kingpin past their multiple cuckings. Daredevil with his walk of shame and She-Hulk.
Wait, getting laid by a gorgeous woman is cucking?
We talked about this when it happened. How the fuck is that a walk of shame? It's just a comedic moment of Daredevil having just fucking got laid from,
it's kind of the cliche of walk of shame, but it's not something to really be ashamed about. Come on.
I mean, yeah, it's a, I don't know. It's a really weird thing. And you can tell that he just grabs onto that stuff. Yeah. And it's like, the audience doesn't think it through. It's just, I remember the walk of shame. They don't fucking critically analyze anything about it. They just, it's dumb. But it's kind of weird because he, anyway, we'll get there.
And Kingpin being defeated by a teenage girl and a Native American Voltron who reconnected him with his feelings.
I cannot unsee this.
Hold on, pause it for a second. I had to just look something up. The Daredevil show on Netflix was produced by Disney.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, those are all co-produced.
So
by Disney.
why would he assume that it would be different when it's produced by Disney again?
He says that Kevin Feige had nothing to do with those shows, so that's why they were good.
But they were still a Disney production.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
he keeps saying Daredevil produced by Disney, like Disney Marvel Daredevil, which is where so his distinction is that it's done by Disney. So it was done by Disney before.
I'm not going to go into too much detail, but if you thought the Daredevil Netflix scene where Kingpin crushes the guy in the door was gruesome, you haven't seen anything yet until you've seen the last episode of Born Again.
Yeah.
He's the opportunity.
Misses that moment too, by the way. I was fucking astonished. He just flat out.
I was like, "Damn!" They linger on that for a moment too. I'm like, "Holy shit!"
Opportunity given to them by the worst time strikes in history by scrapping what they already filmed with the sitcom She-Hulk version of Daredevil and reconnecting it to the.
Is there any evidence?
Okay, so like characters will cross over into different books, and those books will have different genres they shoot for. This is a comic book thing. It happens all the time. If you're not interested in that genre of book, don't pick it up.
No, I do think that what we know about the original version of the show would have been rejected, would have been seen by most fans as not what we wanted out of a continuation of this Daredevil. But I don't think I've seen anything that says it was going to be a comedy.
No.
I don't see that anywhere.
No, I don't think it was either.
The far superior Netflix Daredevil outside of maybe
Iron wasn't Netflix. They were both Disney Daredevil.
Yeah. And I don't
calling it Netflix Daredevil is the platform it was released on. They were not the sole creators of the Daredevil show on Netflix.
Right. If I were ranking the seasons and including Born Again with the 3 seasons, I'd probably give Born Again an edge over season 2.
I would too.
Yeah, I mean it's Marvel has been owned by Disney since what, 2009?
Yes.
Yeah, right? It's been a while at this point.
All been Disney.
All of the stuff we've had in live action since the beginning of the MCU, after Phase 1, because Phase 1 was released through some other production companies.
Iron Man 2, I think, was the last one that was not actually Disney. Yeah.
Right. But all of the stuff after that, so basically all the TV stuff we got after that was connected to Disney. So it's just I don't know what this fucking argument is.
That his audience doesn't think things through, so like he can say this stuff and they just buy it. I mean, honestly, unless I stop and think about it, then it's like, oh yeah, clearly this has been Disney the whole time. But yeah,
Stray Beans makes a good point. They complain about Netflix shows too. So how is it that the Netflix show automatically makes it better than something else?
Mm-hmm. And it's not even veiled that Disney, like that was partially a Disney production, because like if you watch those Netflix shows, they link heavily to the MCU. Yes. They are talking about MCU events often.
But they pay lip service for sure. I don't know if they link heavily, Yeah,
so they're definitely supposed to be there. I will say Born Again is much more so.
Yeah, so...
Simply the most comic accurate and the best comic book adaptation Disney Marvel has ever done in live action. Incidentally, Kevin Feige had nothing to do with it.
Wait, hold on, pause. So he just confirmed.
Wait, what?
So, no, but he just confirmed that the Daredevil, the Netflix Daredevil, was the best thing that Disney Marvel had ever done. But then he says that now Daredevil is Disney Marvel. He just contradicted himself.
Can I like maybe I'm my brain is glitching, but this looks fake. What is going on with this scene?
I don't know.
Look at Punisher.
Yeah, was that like
it looks like a green screen
was that
shot.
A promotional shot, maybe? Because there was not a scene like that would only happen because that's Elektra in the middle, right? So
yes,
that would only happen at the end of season 2, and I don't think Frank was ever in shot with them.
Really
he was a sniper.
Is it AI? Is it an AI video?
It must be AI.
It might have been some promotional stuff they did.
So nothing says that we're showing you something is better than something else than using a fake like video.
Really not showing you a fake thing. Fucking crazy. Yeah, I was just like, I'm sorry. We were paused on it for a second. I was like, that is weird. The way he's like, Frank's just standing there.
That does look weird. Yeah.
And I don't remember that happening. Crazy. Does she have a gun?
You know what's also funny is Kevin Feige was the person that created the earlier phases.
Yes.
So he's the bad guy now?
Well, he got
like
cut.
If there wasn't Kevin Feige, that Netflix Daredevil show would never fucking exist because nobody would make it.
The best comic book adaptation Disney
just weird as fuck.
Marvel has ever done in live action. Incidentally, Kevin Feige had nothing to do with it. But could Kevin Feige and company actually grab the baton and produce something good on D+?
So I'm a little bit confused. Do they hate everything before Endgame now too? Is it all bad now? Was it never good? I'm a little confused because Kevin Feige's been in charge of the MCU the whole fucking time. It just seems weird to say the only good thing is not Kevin Feige involved. Well, okay, then it all sucks.
It was an actual Netflix promo, I guess, is what Matt
okay.
Sorry, I just got held up on that because it's so bizarre looking.
Mm-hmm. It's like that shot does not have
original from Netflix. And after watching the final episode of Daredevil Born Again Season 1, the answer is a definitive no. Ironically enough, the final episode is called Straight to Hell, and that's exactly where this series went. Now, full disclosure, Daredevil is one of my favorite comic book characters. I own a complete run and almost every single appearance.
This is a plea to the emotion of his viewers.
Yes.
No one cares about this.
He said that I can't be a sweet summer child, and never let it be said that I can't take the L because I was dumb enough to be cautiously optimistic about a Disney Marvel product.
So this is like it just from a divorcing from the morality, which is not moral, and saying if I'm judging Gary on how well he's grifting, this is pretty clever.
It is
to do a thing where you're like, oh, I was naive enough to, I was hoping it was going to be good, So that's good that he includes that sometimes because otherwise it might start to look like he's just going to say everything Disney Marvel is bad.
But also this gives his viewers some sort of ammunition against people that are critical of him because they'll say, oh, well, he originally liked it and then he didn't like it, even though we know the only reason he's switching this up is because his numbers are declining and he's losing money on YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, and because, maybe he just feels like everybody has got, I don't know, who knows? We can maybe try and suss it out based on what he says, but he doesn't say a lot. That's what's fucked up. Actually ask yourself as we're watching this, how much is he saying substantively about what he doesn't like?
Well, we're 2 minutes in and he hasn't said anything yet.
Gary, that's what Gary thinks he's good at. He's good at implying a lot. He's not as good as Critical Drinker, but he implies a lot. And the issue is it's usually fucking obvious what he's saying.
Well, the lines that he's drawing here also don't make any sense to me. So he is saying that Kevin Feige didn't have anything to do with the actual production of the Netflix Daredevil series. He also calls it Netflix Daredevil, and then sometimes he calls it the best thing that Disney Marvel did was Netflix Daredevil, but then he calls it Disney Daredevil now that it's on Disney Plus, trying to make some sort of distinction there. But Kevin Feige made all of the movies that he loved in the beginning of the MCU. So
he needs to have somebody checking his scripts, man, because like there should be somebody that's like, hey, Gary, you kind of both you play both sides of the fence here with Disney.
Yeah, this is definitely a both sides situation.
And then he goes, yeah, that's part of the grift. Go with it.
I was under the false impression that Disney Marvel might actually take some care with this series and that it was going somewhere where it.
So based on his last review, which I guess was based off of the first episode, maybe first two episodes.
Well, it would have been the first two episodes, yeah.
He thinks that was had potential, that everything it was doing was good enough to warrant cautious optimism. If we're taking him, face value.
Which is weird, because I don't know about you guys, but like most people I've talked about, including me, I thought ended stronger than it began.
It did. I think the first and the last 2 episodes were probably the strongest episodes, next to a couple of the ones in the middle.
But I mean, like all of the elements, I think that it was pretty. By the end of the second episode, for sure, you kind of get a sense of what this show's going to do.
Yeah.
Right. Like, in like, if Gary thought that they were actually going to come out and say, it's actually really cool that these cops are doing Punisher stuff, and we're on support of that, then he's a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? That was never going to be the case. Yeah.
It clearly wasn't. A slow burn still needs to burn, but this one just fizzled, and it did it pretty quickly. And in trying to fix and integrate what they had scrapped from the previous series, it just turned into repurposed slop. Concerning the previous character vandalizations of Daredevil.
Character vandalizations of Daredevil. He said, makes that claim. It's a very passionate claim. Why? What about Daredevil? Because I guarantee if he's read any of this alleged run that he owns, everything that you saw in She-Hulk, you can find examples of in the comics.
I mean, I'm trying, like, Charlie Cox has been busy. He's done lots of cameos and shit in Marvel. I can't think of an example where they've ruined Daredevil in any of it.
Well, he's trying to get the word slop in their vernacular. He's trying to get that into, because you're gonna. I'm hearing less and less woke now, and more slop and like vandalization of character and shit like that is what I'm hearing now.
Lucifer's talking about specifically showing these She-Hulk clips, though. That's just
Who would have thought Daredevil would be lighter and more fun in a comedy series? Which, by the way, like, he's like, if we want to explore a full character here, he's not going to be like this dark, gloomy guy all the time. He's just not, because people aren't like that.
Like, that's why it's so much more dramatic and effective whenever in the comics some real heavy shit starts happening to him, because he is generally, he's a positive guy. He's a friendly guy. He's like trying to date and have positive relationships. He's not just going around fucking, dooming and glooming all the time. It's when the negative things start happening that he does that.
Marvel had a couple of options. They could have never addressed it, which I would have recommended, or make it work somehow.
So this is interesting, because right here, he wishes that they would just never address these very specifically MCU connected things that, like, the Kingpin and Matt have already been in. So Daredevil, She-Hulk and Hawkeye. He thinks that he should not mention those.
Right.
Essentially, they just pretend those didn't happen. That's weird. It's a weird thing that you would expect.
That is a really weird thing. Number one, you don't have to watch those things to understand Daredevil at all. You can jump right in and enjoy it.
But then also, in about a minute or so, he complains that he didn't explain how he has an eye now. It's like, which one is it, Gary? You should be happy that they didn't fucking address the eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Somehow, but their genius idea was to actually expand on it.
Did she shoot you in the face?
Yeah. But it doesn't stop there, because you could add to the list Vanessa Fisk, Karen Page, The Punisher, and Bullseye. And the new characters they introduced can be put solidly in 3 categories: irrelevant, annoying, or insufferable, which coincidentally would also be the best description of the plot. Or strike that, because it really wasn't a plot. It was a patchwork series of events that plays out in the most predictable, implausible, and boring.
Okay.
So he's making fact, which is that this is, I think conceivably could be called like patchwork, even if you enjoyed the season. I can still see it as a patchwork. That's true. But then it's mixed in with all of these subjective claims about the quality of it that he doesn't substantiate in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, he criticizes his girlfriend, Heather, which I did as well in my podcast, because I am not a fan of her character. To me, Matt either needs to tell her his secret or break up with her. I definitely lean towards breaking up with her, because I don't think she's going to deal with it well. Now, he criticizes the law partner, which one of my criticism is we don't really get as much with her. She gets a little bit, but not that much. And I didn't find her, I don't know what adjective he used, insufferable or whatever. No, she was kind of just there. which would be my criticism.
But the thing is, these are the characters that he wouldn't want in the show anyway. This is why this is such a disingenuous argument. He wants Foggy and Karen. So why would he argue in favor of those characters, the newer characters that are clearly going to be backseat characters for the series? Yeah. Why would he want more of that? Because if any of those characters were front and center, he would complain that they're taking the show away from Matt.
True.
So it's a disingenuous argument.
Yeah. Like if they did one episode where the law partner was like the lead character, which isn't uncommon in a TV series, they'd probably argue that it's a fucking bait and switch.
100%. 100%. They would call it DEI shit. They would say all kinds of awful things about it. So he doesn't care that those characters aren't fleshed out. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah, you guys nailed it. Sorry. It's just fucking, it's frustrating that people don't catch this, man. Like, and then, you know, fine, you want to buy into this kind of content, whatever, but then they have this fucking false confidence, unearned confidence to go around to our channels and say shit like, we don't understand something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, idiots.
Boring way possible. In Daredevil Born Again, because they used the Born Again storyline from the comics in season 3 of the Netflix show, Matt, Foggy, and Karen are reunited as it was heavily promoted in the trailers for about 15 minutes. Foggy is killed, and Karen f***s off until the final episode of the series, leaving Matt to quit, wallow in self-pity, get chewed out by his business partner.
Yes.
So he's skipping over a ton of stuff from that first episode. The entire reason that Matt is in the position he's in, and the entire reason that him and Karen aren't speaking, is because of Foggy's death.
Yes.
That's the catalyst for that. If you're watching the show, you're like, this is why he's not putting the suit back on, and this is why it takes so long for Karen to come back into the picture. That's the story.
Yep.
Exactly.
And also, they're going to be big parts of the next season. Obviously, if you watch the finale, which he did after he did, and then made this video, he knows that they're setting it up that Karen's going to be in it. She's in it now. She's all up in it. But like, basically, I don't know. I'm getting mad again listening to this because it's so fucking egregious and bad.
He's speaking directly to the idiots that support him blindly. Yes. That's exactly what this is. This is him hoping that his viewership and numbers are back up to where they were last year because he wants the money. That's why he's saying all this.
Yeah. Here's what's pissing me off. Isn't it amazing how much context matters to him when it's the context of the producers or what went on behind the scenes, or like it's a patchwork and here's what happened here. Oh, they promoted this so heavily. That all matters so fucking much. But when it comes to, you know, the story, the plot in the show, like, why is Karen not there? Why did she fuck off? No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
So listen, we commonly talk about how the Chud viewers and Gary's viewers are stupid. Because they are. But you want to know who really treats them stupid? Fucking Gary.
Yes.
He's hoping that you guys are soft-brained enough that either you won't watch this and will just regurgitate what he says, or will watch it and then hear what Gary says and then just change your opinions on a dime based on what he says.
I've saved it for, I was saving it for whenever I felt like I got my most frustrated watching this, and so it's time for my new drop. We're going to do that. All right.
Fuck you.
Also.
No. This performance, it's inauthentic.
Okay.
Teenage girl get chewed out by one of his clients and cry. He also defends White Tiger in a courtroom scene, which eventually gets him killed.
Okay, that's a pretty big part of the season. That's a pretty big part of the season.
Oh, but Bobby put a funny sound effect on it, so it's funny.
You have this whole run. You know that he also, spoiler alert for the comics, White Tiger in the comic version of this that this is based on somewhat, he also dies at the end.
Yeah.
Gary, you know that, right, Gary? You knew that. Of course you did.
I mean, the main White Tiger I'm familiar with is it the niece or the daughter? I don't remember.
It's the niece.
Yeah, it's the one. It's the one. It's Angela that comes up later.
He mentions that because you know that's to show he's I'm very I've got my bona fides here. I know that this character becomes the White Tiger.
He also thwarts a bank robbery with the help of Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel's dad, who might have mentioned it a couple of times.
Excuse me, apologies.
Yeah, he's proud of his fucking daughter. His daughter's a superhero. Holy shit.
I don't know if Gary has kids. I really don't know. I hope fucking not. But if he does, then he must not know the experience of being proud of them.
Yes.
Because when you have kids and you're proud of them, you kind of, like an asshole, you bring it up a lot. I know.
Yeah, he can't bring up that his daughter is Miss Marvel, but he's like, hey, we got a superhero in our area, Miss Marvel. She's amazing. He's bragging about his fucking kid.
Kamala, she's in California, visiting some friends there. Miss Marvel, this is her right here. A custom-designed Funko in her.
With the exception of Miles Morales, Kamala Khan's probably the most popular character Marvel's made in the past 20 years.
Yes, that's
I'm
true.
just saying.
Hey, I will point out, remember we were talking about how he seems to have let his beard go? Well, he trimmed it up for this video, I think.
Oh,
that's
good. He's watching us and got triggered. So.
Oh, man, we know those guys got their beard game. I need to up mine.
To instill in her the value of saving. And my daughter.
Ah, the famous Kamala.
Yes, Kamala.
Who? And he finally dons his costume at the end of the 6th episode, because who in the hell wants to tune into a superhero show where the superhero is doing superhero stuff? And he does.
Oh, listen, he's been doing superhero stuff throughout the entire fucking season. It just took him a while to put on the costume because he didn't want to put it on after Foggy's death.
And
it's almost like this is explained in the fucking show.
He has to know, considering he has a whole run of Daredevil, that there's lots of times in the comics, there's entire issues that go by where he doesn't put on the costume or do anything Daredevil related.
So does he want well done stories, or does he want like costume beat 'em up stuff? Like, which one does he want? Because it's a conflicting narrative here. Like, is he suggesting that the show is bad because he wasn't in the costume the whole time, or is it the show was bad because it was written badly and he should have had the costume on instead? Because clearly the costume doesn't make a fucking difference since you didn't like the ending of the series.
Well, I bet you I could look at that Netflix series and find plenty of episodes where he doesn't put on the costume as well.
Like the whole first season?
Good.
Like the whole first season? He wears the black outfit with like the beanie.
And in the third one, he does the black outfit with the beanie again.
I mean, look, this was an over hour or something episode and he literally was not in costume for the first couple of minutes of the thing.
Right.
And that wasn't good enough, though. Wasn't good enough.
But again, he doesn't care because he still didn't like the end of the series, so the costume doesn't make it any better.
I'm still wanting to know what he didn't like about it compared to the start. Can anybody explain this yet? Has anybody spotted it?
It sounds to me like
he
he's just
explained anything.
It sounds to me like he's just mad that Marvel is making content that he has to watch. I guess I don't know.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he was upset by Punisher just calling all his fanboys clowns.
We get there.
Mm-hmm.
And I want Harrison. I mean, look. I mean, in sentiment, like basically, yes. If it wasn't for YouTube and the structure of how this works, he might be. However, I know for a fact because I did a fucking background search. I know he's lives in a house that's it wasn't super cheap, and it seems like the second one that he's bought with his YouTube money. So no, he doesn't live in a van or under a bridge or whatever. In a just world that was actually based on merit, he would be.
This to finally face the villain they have been building up to all season, Muse, the serial killer supervillain who uses the blood of his victims.
Which, by the way, can we pause it? They weren't building up to him all season. We got small teases of him. We got small teases of him.
Mentions here and there, yeah.
It wasn't in I remember watching the first 4 episodes and we got teases of him. I assumed he was a Punisher fanboy at that point. Because I remember seeing the first 4 episodes. I was like, he's probably one of the fanboys, right? We're seeing him.
Color me crazy, but I think Kingpin was the character they were building up the whole season.
Right? Yeah.
Maybe I was just watching a different show. I don't know.
Maybe he thought we were going to be being friends at the end. I don't know. I kind of I think it was with Bob of the Old Ways in Morgan. We talked about this, and they were kind of disappointed by Muse and how his whole thing wrapped up. And I was like, yeah, I can see that, but also,
yeah, I was a little.
I don't think he was insignificant because I think what happened with him was a catalyst to make everything else happen. That happened.
Yes, yeah, it was because everything with Heather and all the stuff that happens with the vigilante stuff with Kingpin, a lot of that hinges on what happens with Muse.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I mean, yeah, he's a side villain. He's he's a catalyst character. I guess you could look at it as. But
in the comics, he's an Inhuman with super strength and super speed.
I'm going to point out differences between
Jesus fucking Christ, Gary. I would love for you to find the single MCU thing that is exactly comic accurate. I'll wait.
I do think the Muse storyline was supposed to be bigger, but that's irrelevant because I don't think they set that up in the show, though. Sorry, Lucy, for not saying that's wrong with you, but they didn't set. To me, Muse was not set up as the main villain of the season. No. I don't know where he got that from, but
and he's imperceptible to Daredevil. In Daredevil Born Again, he's an incel who's really good at Taekwondo.
You would know about incels, won't you, Gary?
Yeah, you don't go around throwing that word around like that, Gary. Your audience is going to get triggered, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably why Heather Glenn was able to kill him with relative ease. And this is where the
ease.
She was almost killed by him.
Right, she was laying on the floor, bleeding out.
If it wasn't at the last minute, she would have been dead. She was almost dead.
Like he had her wrist slit, and not the showy way, in the effective way.
Not the
spoiler alert. If Daredevil didn't show up, she would be dead.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's ease to me. That doesn't sound like relative ease, but okay.
The series lost me, and
if he's trying to say that it's way too easy to take someone's life with a gun, yeah, we agree with that, Gary. I think.
Which, by the way, the whole Gary's missing what's happening in this scene, right? So Heather had been super critical about vigilantes since the time we met her. She's talked about it and how it's cowardly and all that. She has to make the decision in this moment to shoot someone and become a vigilante, to save her own life at that point. And that's what's causing her to spiral for the rest of the season because of this happening. And I do believe it's going to affect her next season as well. So it's a big pivotal moment that happens specifically to drive her character forward and to spend everything that happens with Kingpin and Daredevil after this. It wasn't with ease, and getting shot isn't with ease. She's not spinning around doing backflips, welding a lightsaber and throwing daggers. Like, she shot the person because that was all she could do.
Yep.
I was about ready to say, I think this is the first episode where Daredevil puts on the costume, but I think it was the one before this.
And back it up for a second, though.
Early on.
I think he says this is where it gets ruined for him. I think he just said that.
With relative ease. In Daredevil Born Again, he's an incel who's really good at Taekwondo. And that's probably why Heather Glenn was able to kill him with relative ease. And this is where the series lost me. And quite frankly, I don't know why it took me so long. Because
why?
So the series, he got mad that a woman had to fight for her life and was able to kill someone that was trying to kill her.
I mean, I guess
is he a fan of Muse? Like, why?
She was no longer being actively murdered because Daredevil was fighting the guy. Then I guess it was easy. Like,
I'm trying to determine why this particular moment was what caused him to not like the show. Was it the Muse stuff, or was it the fact that Heather shot Muse? Was it what Daredevil did? I don't understand what in this moment made any difference compared to anything else he had watched all season. I would argue that prior to this episode, there's probably 5 or 6 other things that I could see Gary being mad about that would have caused him to dial out. Why this particular moment? I think he's playing on the fact that Muse wasn't comic book accurate, and so this is why I'm dialed out for the season. That's what I think.
This is what.
No. This performance, it's inauthentic.
And again, if you're looking for 100% comic authenticity in the MCU, God, you're looking in the wrong fucking place. I cannot stress that enough.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't think he's saying anything that complicated, to be honest.
Or profound. I don't even think it's profound. I think it's just...
Just a few minutes ago, he literally said that he thinks they should have not addressed the previous appearances of the Punisher, of Kingpin, or Matt in other MCU shows that are MCU shows as this is, but then he 30 seconds, a minute later says that they didn't explain, or maybe he hasn't said that yet, but he, whatever about Kingpin.
I was gonna say most of those references are early on during the part where he was saying he liked the series. So,
I mean, Inhumans are established in the MCU if you look at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. especially, but
But also, I don't think there was I don't think there's any reason to make this character to have to explain an Inhuman character existing in Daredevil. If he had powers, they probably wouldn't even explain he was an Inhuman.
Inhumans kind of existed just because Marvel didn't want to do mutants because Fox had the rights. I think right now they'd probably morph
They're
everything.
moving away from that. They're counting on the mutants to fucking save, continue the MCU success, I should say. But like, as far as the one way that I would see it being a good idea to have him as an Inhuman in the show is because he does create an absence of information for Daredevil to draw from.
Right.
So if he was going to be like an ongoing villain, that would be something. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Like it's a thing he has to overcome over time. But like basically, he can't use his typical senses to spot the guy.
And this is a comic book thing. They could always bring him back in some form.
True.
Because Muse turned out to be a red herring, a Shaggy Dog story, completely.
Yes.
For what?
Yes.
The bait and switch. You didn't see Kingpin coming, you fucking moron.
I don't know if I would necessarily call it a red herring.
That is an improper use of red herring.
Yeah.
What was he a red? So wait, hold on. What was he a red herring of?
I don't know.
Nothing. Nothing. He wasn't a red herring. He was the character that everybody thought he was.
Kingpin was firmly established to be a major opponent at the beginning, and then he's the major opponent at the end. Which,
right.
Yeah, there's no red herring going on here. And even if he was a red herring, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's how they
no, this character has multiple villains in a season. All red herrings. They're all red herrings, everybody.
Yeah. So I hate to actually this, but I just read this not like 2 weeks ago. Actually, Blind Spot does not take him out. He actually gets taken captive because his suit runs out of batteries. And Daredevil has to save him, and before he's able to actually save him, he, spoiler alert for the comics, Blind Spot gets his eyes taken out by Muse. He just goes yoink, pulls his eyes out. No, so yeah, Daredevil is the one that actually does beat him, and then that's when at this point the Inhumans, they were doing their Inhumans push in the comics, and they had their own like little city and their own police force and detectives and stuff like that. They come Inhumans come and take
it was silly.
I can't get over the term red herring being incorrectly applied here. It just doesn't make any sense in this, unless you're completely illiterate. Unless you're completely illiterate.
Of course, yeah. I mean, listen, Gary is counting on his audience to be stupid. So just understand, guys. We call you stupid. Gary treats you guys like you're stupid.
Yes.
Yeah. At least we're being direct and honest about what we do.
Yeah.
Pointless, like this show. But getting rid of Muse allowed us more time to have Heather Glenn, Matt's new annoying girlfriend, to be annoying by chewing him out and reminding him that she saved herself.
Muse tried to kill you, Daredevil saved you.
I saved me. They were both out there for themselves.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, no. You do not understand perspective, because from her perspective, she feels like she's the one that did it because she is coping with the trauma of what happened. And she doesn't like vigilantes. That's why she would say that.
And then here comes the one that she one of the ones she's most interested in, has ironically a hate on for, and it saves her life. And so she, what would make even less sense? Would her going, I love vigilantes now. Daredevil saved my life. Vigilantes forever. Like that would be out of character. What doesn't make sense to me, and this is just me. I'm not Matt Murdock. He's a different character than I am. Okay, but I would have broken up with her the moment that I'm like, oh, she fucking hates Daredevil.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, like that would have been out.
Like I say, like there keep on being these moments where it's like you need to tell her or break up with her. And I swear to God, break up with her is the smart move. Man.
Yes, 100%.
That's actually Matt Murdock's character, is that he gets himself in these situations where there's really only destructive consequences for what's happening, and he just doesn't, he keeps barreling down that road.
Right.
That's a very Matt Murdock thing.
It's funny the person in the back has the name Cox on their shirt. Cox.
Why is he showing Trump? What's that about?
I don't know. I guess he was trying to make.
Listen, Gary is independent, which is why he keeps on simping for Trump, because he's completely politically independent.
Right.
Is this?
Yeah. Wait. Hold on. This is a weird thing to stick in the middle of this review. Isn't it?
Not if MAGA is your main audience. No.
Look, what is going on here? This background is fucking bizarre. When you start looking at it.
Well, can we roll back a second and just see what the connection is here with the clip?
Oh, he's telling Heather to shut up.
Yeah.
She says this.
Muse tried to kill you, Daredevil saved you.
I saved me. They were both out there for themselves.
Oh, shut up.
So it is because a woman did something.
Yeah.
That's
That's
it. So it has nothing to do with the story, the perspective, the context. It's just A woman did something he doesn't like, so shut up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's Gary's content. And
silly woman.
Oh, and let's not.
Yeah.
Silly woman. What? Hold on. That's a good shot right there. I need to get him.
Forget all the times Matt quit. Aside from quitting being Daredevil, he just basically black pills on being a lawyer. I think I could.
Yeah, man. Gary, read that comic book run that you
I was about ready to say, is he familiar with Matt Murdock at all?
Those things sometimes. Jesus Christ, man. Gary's fucking such a line.
Oh, look, it's the same A-Force image from the fucking Endgame. Again.
Yeah.
Again. Just
Comfortably.
You can never let things go.
Of planet Earth. I think we are all ready for the MCU to end, but apparently Marvel isn't. Keeping in mind
MCU? Because of that?
I mean, he's calling it MCU on the Daredevil.
This is fucking desperation. This sounds so desperate
Daredevil.
to me.
What the fuck?
So you're calling it MCU because a character that gets maybe 10 minutes of screen time in the whole season shot a character, and then in her own character, from her own perspective, she doesn't like vigilantes, so she's not giving credit to Daredevil. That makes it MCU?
She has agency.
Like, does he think the series is on Heather's side? Because I never got the vibe.
It's not. She's not the character that people are supposed to be siding with.
Do you know how you know this is sexism? Because does he say the same shit when J. Jonah Jameson talks about Spider-Man being a menace? No? Then that's how it's it's sexism. Because it's just a character saying bad shit about a superhero, right? So he should be, I don't know. It's
man.
Daredevil starring Charlie Cox, MCU.
Look, it's not the existence of women; it's women having agency that is a problem.
There's just funny, Harrison. That is, I didn't even put that together, but that is funny. Like that is pretty funny.
To make Gary feel better, they're gonna recast Heather as a man next season.
Right?
So,
yeah.
It won't be.
But then it's still. But then it's the gay. Then it's the gay agenda.
Oh no.
So, yeah.
Oh, well, President Obama, if you think that's a crazy take, have I got news for you?
Oh God.
Thank you for your service, Mr. President.
Who said that the MCU series has less navel gazing than the Netflix show. I would argue the best way to sum up Disney's Daredevil Born Again was it's about a navel.
Wait, pause for a second. What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
He says it's about
such a random drop.
He just wanted to say that so he could.
Yeah, he just went to a random interview that nobody fucking watched and was like, "This is what this person said."
They love cherry picking their random.
Holy shit! The light bill is due. The light bill is fucking due because this is desperation, pedantic, cherry picking, honing in on bullshit. Like what the fuck?
It's amazing. Once again, I will state that it is astonishing, and really, if this is what gives the grift away, the attention to detail with context that has nothing to do with what's actually in the subject matter that he's reviewing. Versus attention to detail of the context in the fucking show. That's why it's grift. That's why it's fucking dishonest. That's why it's bad faith.
Wow.
But not to be outdone in the character assassination department, we have Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, who is now mayor of New York City, just like he was.
You're not going to fucking believe what he's about to do here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. How does he get like? How's this series do a disservice to Kingpin at all?
Like, hold on, he's considering the Trump clip that he dropped to go watch where this goes.
Fuck.
It's in the comics, except it isn't just like it was in the comics because instead of seizing on the opportunity of helping out New York when Hydra trapped Manhattan in a dark dimension, Daredevil Born Again just makes Kingpin a Trump allegory and he becomes mayor pretty easily by saying he's going to make New York great again.
No, he doesn't say that. He doesn't say that.
No, he doesn't say that.
He doesn't ever say that. He never says that. Look, also that storyline would never work in this fucking show, so they were never going to do that. They were never going to do that. That was never a possibility.
Are there elements of it that kind of mirror Trump? Sure, but like he is hardly a 1-to-1 on Trump.
But the problem is, and I've said this before. I don't know if you were on the show when we talked about this. If you see what Kingpin is doing is a Trump allegory, then you admit that Trump is a fascist.
True.
And a criminal. And
because what they're doing with Kingpin is creating a fascist authoritarian situation. So unless you also see Trump as that thing, unless that's how you see it, then there is no allegory. So they have to admit that Trump would be a fascist authoritarian if that's how they see Kingpin.
This guy's smart. I'm glad I'm on a stream with him. He's got it.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, he's okay. So maybe Hydra didn't take New York into a dark dimension in this iteration, but like, let's say some things have happened to New York in the MCU though that could be seen as and besides, like, he kind of what I'm noticing now is that he appeals to everything. That's what he's doing. That's why he mentions so many things, and he never really goes in on one thing too far. For the most part, you know what I mean?
No, it's like, very surface level at this point.
It's all just throwing spaghetti at the wall because one of these things is going to hook somebody and make them see, agree with Gary.
Overall, he hasn't even said that much. It's mostly just being clips and bringing up random cherry-picked articles and shit. Like,
yes, this was all done, by and large.
Yes, it was filmed before Trump took office,
when nobody expected Trump was going to win again.
Which is like, this is why it's so crazy to me. This was filmed before that, which means all of these elements that they think is a Trump allegory are simply authoritarianism and fascism. Yes. And now they understand that that is what Trump looks like in office, which is the part that's crazy to me, that they don't even have 2 brain cells to see that.
Yep.
I mean, listen, if you're watching the end of this season and don't realize that what Kingpin's doing is authoritarian, you are like blind.
And no wonder you think that Trump has made us more free, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
So fucking crazy.
Seen those takes.
Queenpin and doing his job better.
When you were gone,
did she do it better?
Yes.
Yeah,
we don't know because we never saw it though. We only know what people have said.
What we know so far, like, she maybe did it differently.
Much violence. That's what's happened.
Right. And I understand that, but we haven't seen
violence.
we honestly don't know what she did while she was doing it. We understand what people have told us, but we don't know. But even if so, it doesn't matter. Are we supposed to hate this character now?
I mean, the whole point, in my opinion, well, spoilers, but the whole thing with Foggy kind of indicated to me that she wasn't quite as non-violent as they indicated, that there's more to her shit. And
right. Well, I mean, and so is he actually now appealing to villains as an MCU problem? Like,
yes.
Even though women are more crime than the men, like, that's not true. And it's like, well, Gary, you went to prison for crime, so like, you're not very good at it, apparently.
Yeah, so that's a big thing too. Like, Vanessa and Wilson in this series are fucking monsters.
Yeah. And it seals that, and he mentions this in a minute, by the way. He totally mentions this specific moment that happens where he says it's like, you'll see, it's fucking crazy. The Adam thing where she fucking kills Adam. And he says that moment landed like a thud or something like that. Are you fucking kidding me? That if you don't think that, were you paying attention?
Lucifer, I agree with that statement, except the word essentially. She ordered it.
Bulletproof.
I was under the false assumption that they would somehow explain this, and they didn't. That's simply what it was. To be fair, we finally get an explanation as to why the Kingpin is free in this show. In the very beginning of the final episode of Daredevil Born Again Season 1, Vanessa mentions in passing while she's talking to Bullseye that Wilson Fisk was acquitted due to the federal corruption scandal involving Agent Ray Nadeem from Season 3. And again, they could have just not mentioned or not acknowledged the events of Echo and Hawkeye, but they decided to do that in the first episode, which leads to
the first episode that you thought was all right.
How does a guy become mayor when he's hot off of rounding up a posse and trying to kill some Indians in Oklahoma?
How does a guy become president when he's hot off of leading a fucking insurrection in the most fucking violent domestic terror or domestic terrorism or terrorism act since 9/11? How does a guy get elected in the presidency, Gary?
Like, it's not like he admitted to raping women or anything.
It's also like also like maybe they're setting up the idea that the election was not fair. Maybe there was something sketchy that was going on. No offense, sketchy hot hands. Maybe there was something sketchy going on that got him elected that we're not aware of yet because we're still watching the fucking story unfold.
I mean, and look, and I don't think anybody really needs to hear this, but I will say it just because we will. he does this because he knows he can get away with it, because it's not the most egregious thing you can say, but engines, man, like engines, you fucking low hanging fruit.
I know, man. Like, and this is the thing with fucking YouTube, and I've talked about this many times. That is literally a violation of their terms of service, and they will not call them on it. They won't call them on it.
It is. I mean, look, at least they're not like Geeks and Gamers using that word they used in their review on their website and then refused to change whenever called out.
They stood by, and it's like, Jesus Christ, jeez.
Oklahoma and Echo, and how the did he get his eye back? That was
so Gary's saying, okay, so
they explain it in Echo. If you don't like the explanation, move on.
Because they mentioned those previous things at all. Now he wants every single thing explained. Otherwise, it's bad.
Yeah,
right.
It's like he's a comic book guy, right?
So now he cares. Now he cares about what happened on those shows. Now he cares about what happened on Echo. Now he cares about what happened on Hawkeye.
Yeah. Listen, the show sucks because
the eye thing is he's got money and he got a prosthetic eye.
Listen, the show sucks because it references those the other shows that he dislikes, but it also sucks because it doesn't reference them more.
Shot out by Echo. Don't know. Oh, and I know there's so many more questions than that I'm not going to bother to get into because
where's he filming at?
Let's just say after 9.
So he actually wants to know the answers to these questions then? Well, I thought he didn't want to. It doesn't make any sense, guys. If you're fucking a Nerdrotic fan and you're not seeing this shit, get help, man. Like, it doesn't make any sense. What's his actual perspective here? He doesn't have one. So you have to ask, what is his goal with making this content?
Right.
9 episodes, the Kingpin is in no better shape than he was at the end of Hawkeye or Echo. And what they did to Vanessa Fisk is a crime against imagination. One of the best characters.
What did they do to her that's a crime?
Yeah. Other than establishing that she's just as fucked up as Wilson.
Which they did in the comics as well. So therefore, does he want it to be comic accurate or not?
I mean, I thought he liked Netflix Daredevil, and Netflix Daredevil season 3 was establishing that she is just as fucked up as he is. And Born Again just kind of says, definitely.
Look at that. She was a fucking looker, though. Goddamn. Anyway,
yeah.
But like, she'd fucking every other thing he says contradicts every last thing he says.
Right.
Yes.
It's insane.
Like show, the ride or die wife has just been reduced to a Disney Marvel girl boss. The only reason the Kingpin's empire is still.
He was in prison, and she ran the company while he was in prison, and did fucked up things. Like,
what channel are you watching on there, Kitty? Because I mean, maybe you need to refresh your thing, or maybe you're watching on the.
What's happening?
Well, no matter what, guys, make sure to like and subscribe. No matter what channel you're on.
Oh, it's on mine. Yeah. Get my likes up. 3 likes. What the fuck, people?
What's up, dude? Jesus
Come on,
Christ.
Get the likes up. So, girl boss is typically used to explain corporate feminism, right? So, please explain how a mob boss, a woman who is doing her own thing or whatever, is displaying corporate feminism in this instance.
I mean, you're asking them to hold true to a definition that they stole the word from the
right. So, girl boss just means a woman being in charge of anything, really. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
As long as she can be in charge of something, as long as it's not at all making a man look less than in that same context. That's the thing. There could be powerful women.
Being reduced is an interesting way to describe it, though. Reduced to the head of the crime organization.
They give away so much how insecure they are, and I don't know if Gary maybe is really that insecure himself, but he definitely knows that his audience is.
Gary won't debate anybody. President Obama. He won't talk to anyone that feels different than him. And if you don't believe me on that, go to Piers Morgan. He's been on Piers Morgan a couple times. Anytime anyone challenges his opinion, he shuts up and he just doesn't say anything. He won't debate
President
anybody.
Obama, I will be happy to talk to him.
He surrounds himself with yes people. That's all he does. So he can control the narrative. If he's a guest on somebody's show, he controls who's on that show with them. If he has people on his show, he controls who's going to be on that show. When he's in an environment like Piers Morgan where he doesn't, he clams up.
And, listen, we all know why. It's because he knows he's full of shit.
Because he doesn't have anything but contrarianism. That's literally all he has. He will say one thing, then say the opposite thing, just to be contrary to whatever he feels like he's arguing against. There's no substance behind any of it.
She made it more streamlined and profitable. The other crime families might have feared Wilson, but they respected Vanessa. It was Vanessa.
Oh, they feared her too.
The driving force in establishing the big mystery of the show. Red Hook, an area of the port that, due to an 1855 charter, is not subject to state or federal law. Basically, it can be its own city-state. She was the one who is clearly in the position of power to the subservient Bullseye who set him up.
Wait. Bullseye is the hired goon, as he was in season 3. He's the thug.
He's never been the head of any crime organization, right?
He's never been that.
Can you believe that? Bullseye subservient to a woman?
He is the muscle. He's a scary muscle.
The deeper we get into this video, the more insane the claims get. Honestly, like that is fucking crazy that he's.
I mean, Kingpin was using him in season 3 to go after Daredevil,
but Kingpin's a man, Bob.
Oh, okay.
He's subservient to another man because men earn their right to be dominant over other men
from simply being born with the dick.
He cannot earn their right to be dominant over men. Period.
You were born with the penis, then you're all good with them.
Mm.
I mean, he doesn't anymore. Basically, Bullseye was trying to kill probably both of them in the penultimate episode.
Huggy and his client who are going to expose this information. And I'm sure it won't be forgotten that the Cuck Kingpin is going to swoop in and take credit for a woman's work. Speaking of Bullseye, they've taken...
Wasn't he the one that imprisoned her boyfriend?
Yes.
How was he cucked to her?
Well,
he made it very clear in their therapy sessions he wasn't going to put up with it, and then he locked the guy up and beat him up with his fist and a weapon.
I mean, also, when you watch the show, it's established that he was away for a while dealing with all the prison shit he had to deal with since season 3. And then when he comes back, he is in charge.
So Gary's definition of a cuck is a man who tells his wife that he's not going to deal with this shit, kidnaps the person that she's with, locks him up in a cell under a building, and then abuses him, beats him up, and then keeps him there until the wife kills him. Fuck you. That's the definition of being a cuck to him.
Yes.
Okay.
Nemesis and one of the best villains in comic books.
It literally calls... Hold on. Go back a second. It literally says there in that picture he's showing that Bullseye is a mercenary.
Yeah.
He works for hire.
Mean, Gary?
He's a hired mercenary.
He's not the brains of the operation. He's the thug.
Oh, it's muted.
I know. I was just trying to get to the. Okay. I was trying to get back to where that showed that.
It was after this.
Yeah, it's after this. It was just a couple frames behind where we were.
You're mad that a mercenary was hired to do a hit.
Yeah, a mercenary
because the person that hired him is a woman.
Oh my god!
Holy shit! It's right there.
Yeah, mercenary.
So Gary,
Bullseye, mercenary.
Gary, man, you really ought to read some of those comics you claim to have, because you clearly have. Even Gary, you could go to just Wikipedia and read this shit, my man. If you're too lazy or you just don't read too well, I don't know, to have somebody else read it to you, something. But this information is very well known. Does he not know what a mercenary is? Oh no.
Jesus.
Didn't you the other day say that Mahler and Gary had a disagreement? I mean, the other day, did I say that? I mean, they did have a disagreement. There's a video about it. You can watch it. All right.
Arch nemesis and one of the best villains in comic books, and turned him into a cowardly snitch who's afraid to be released in the general populace in a prison. And they managed to do that.
Whoa, wait. So, Kingpin had him released in general pop to get him killed. That was the whole point. There was never established that Bullseye was afraid of that at all. He escaped.
How was he afraid of it? He literally just saw an opportunity to escape. That's it.
He literally, took out one of his own teeth so he could seriously injure a person with it. Fuck.
Oh, dear.
The only real full episode he appears in. Speaking of Bullseye, you know who else was heavily publicized in the trailer and the promotional material, but not in the show very much? the Punisher, who in episode 4 had one.
So Gary seems to believe that there is an amount of screen time in media.
Yeah.
That there's a minimum.
So what's the amount? If you're in the promotional stuff for the TV show, I mean, what, 6 episodes, 7 full episodes? Yeah. I mean, I don't really understand how that correlates.
You need 8 episodes and a 1 episode where you star and a whole arc around you.
Not in the show very much. So, but I mean, I'll say this, and Gary actually says this too. The scene in episode 4, fucking phenomenal. One of the best moments, like just in the MCU.
The Punisher stuff in this season is fantastic.
Fucking awesome. It's like I don't give a shit how much time he's in it, as long as it's that fucking good.
And even if he's not that much in it, the Punisher cult, the Punisher groupies, they're a big part of the series. They're an issue. That's why Punisher is there.
Clowns, basically.
Yeah.
One of the best scenes of any.
Oh, Jacob. Oh, I see what you're trying to do, buddy. No. Okay. So, no, he does surround himself with yes men. You know what they were arguing about? What they disagreed about? How bad Deadpool and Wolverine is compared to Ahsoka. That's what they were disagreeing.
Just for shits and
the actual disagreement, you're a fucking moron.
So, I just looked it up for shits and giggles. Because I knew it was a small amount of time. Thanos was in Endgame for 13 minutes.
Sounds right.
That's a 3-hour movie. Mm-hmm. He was in it for 13 minutes. But he was heavily used in the advertising. I guess he should have been in it for like the whole 2 hours of the movie because he was heavily used in the advertising. Matter of fact, Thanos is only on screen in Infinity War for 32 minutes. He shows up in scenes for 32 minutes of a 3-hour movie.
He's the protagonist. Yeah, it's dumb.
Anything on Disney Plus, and definitely the best of this series.
Say his name, you coward! Say his name! It's not about him! You hate yourself.
All the background music. We got to do the silly background music.
Got to have silly background music, otherwise people might actually recognize. This has got to be really tricky.
It's a good scene.
He's trying to say this is a good scene, and it is, but he's also got to downplay it at the same time, which is fun. Mm-hmm. This is where his job gets kind of challenging, I think.
Yeah, like Dane said, like you said, Dane, in that one graphic, it's like naked a chick at a bar.
Right. It is. It's just like that. It's like I want to talk about how hot this chick is, but I gotta tell her she looks. I'm telling her, I need to wear that dress.
Right.
Oh, God damn it.
Unfortunately, whatever audience was actually watching this got whiplash because it was preceded by one of the absolute worst scenes in the history of Marvel on Disney Plus and in the series.
Oh, Seinfeld music. Nice.
So it once again he shows this and it's added crap to it, Seinfeld crap and canned laughter. I'm not quite sure what he says about it. I think this is about where I stopped watching the video because I was like, I don't even understand what you're saying, Gary. Like, I mean, I can intuit based on what I know of him to what he's trying to say, but he's not actually saying it. So.
And I'll be able to watch this segment, then I have to jump out of here because I have to work tonight. So
okay.
What peanuts?
Butter toffee.
Toffee for the man.
But you can't eat that. Hey, Wilcox, are these boxes evidence? Nah, the mother boxes was evidence. I paid for this shit.
Complaint against your alleges.
Sorry, man, I got to disagree. I mean, I don't think it's hard to compare, but I would say if I was going to sit down and watch a season of Daredevil to get a full story of a Daredevil show, it would be this one over probably over season 3 of the show, just because those shows are long. I mean, the seasons are long, and there's a lot of filler. There's almost, I mean, they may be disoriented this season, but I wouldn't say anything is really filler. Yeah.
I mean, I will say to better and worse that like Born Again moves faster than the other Daredevil seasons. I personally like some filler. I don't object to some filler because that's usually where you get a lot of character stuff that I really enjoy.
Jake God, are you fucking triggered, bro? I think so. He's triggered by what we're saying about his fucking parasocial content.
Look how often Eric reframes arguments. So what they are saying is, but isn't that Nerdrotic's entire thing?
That's literally what he does, man.
All of it is speculation on what he thinks people are doing and what is going on behind the scenes, or what somebody means in their statements, or like Like, you're arguing that that's what I do, but that's literally the foundation of these guys' conversations.
You're the stupid person we were talking about. You're the idiot who thinks that Gary doesn't think you're a fucking moron when he.
So all of the background laughter in the scenes was the intention of the person that made the show. Right. That was intentional. Or how about this? The fact that they call characters girl bosses and say that's a problem for hiring a mercenary. Like, how is that genuine? Is that real?
They ruined that mercenary, Gary says, by making him a mercenary.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't care if he finds me worth talking to because he's a piece of shit. So why would I care what a piece of shit thinks of me? Like, I wouldn't.
The fact is, Gary would not talk to us because he's fucking terrified of having anyone hold him to account for the things he says. He's seen our content. He knows what it would not come out looking good for him if he talked.
I mean, he made a comment about me debunking their claim about the budget of a MCU movie. He made an entire statement about it without calling me out by name, and I'm the only person that said it the week that he made that statement.
He's made
the only one
about organized chaos from someone asking, "Hey, why does this guy hate you so much?" And he's like, "I don't even know. I have no idea." But then he goes on to say very specific things that he would have to have watched his content to know. So he does know why organized chaos criticizes him. He knows this is why we do. Let
me point this out. There's a thing that people do called context. Like, you have to read between the lines of what somebody is saying and doing. The fact that you don't question that makes me I personally wonder if you are intelligent enough to even understand what that means.
Or something is what I'm thinking. This person's probably a fucking teenager, to be honest.
Probably. But like, if someone does something and has a pattern of behavior, then you can understand what their reasoning is. So you're talking to me like this might be the first Nerd Rock video I've ever watched, and I'm just making up claims about him.
Yeah.
You missed the earlier part where I went back and showed that his channel is actually suffering right now from where it was last year at this time. I've done deep dives into these guys. So when I say that they mean something else that they're saying to their audience, I don't do that with like oh, fuck it, bro, I'm just going to make this up. No, these are things that I've studied, that I understand. It's called also having street smarts, being able to see these things for what they are. The fact that so many people defend these guys and you are willing to blindly do it tells me that you are not diving deeper under the surface, which is why what they're doing is so predatory and why they are so capable of doing it.
We're on your side, man, even if you're not. You know, we're trying to fucking, make YouTube a better place for people like you who are too dumb to realize when somebody's preying on them. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. I don't want people to be stupid because of Nerdrotic. Like, that's not my goal. I would much rather the community heal itself and people could start talking about like genuine shit instead of arguing about stuff like girl boss and why would she be hiring a mercenary? Like, those are dumb arguments, man. They're dumb complaints.
Gary's pronouns are he, him, I believe, just so you know. I don't think he goes by they. But he did, clearly, for your full-size history. The fact is, Gary won't speak to us because we are the ones who understand what his content strategy is as well as he does. He knows what he's doing. We know what he's doing. You don't understand it. We try to tell people what he's doing. Our audiences generally see it. But sometimes when guys show up and you hear us saying this stuff and it seems fucking, well, how can they possibly say this? Gary doesn't fucking like them.
Right. Did you not watch the scene with her and Bullseye at the prison?
Oh, my God.
Did you not watch the conversation that they had to understand why things went the way they went?
You're not equipped to have a conversation, man. You're showing up here making, come on, dude. You didn't watch the show. You watched them talk about the show. Because if you did, you would know why he agreed to do what he did. It would make sense then. I'm sorry, that's fucking retarded. All right.
Stole approximately 5 boxes of fiddle faddle from a bodega. Well, I did do it.
Oh, I get it. The black guy, I have to go after this anyway, but the black guy who is talking about systemic issues within the black community and actual poverty and disparity and food deserts and not being able to afford food and how they are unfairly treated in the system. That's a joke to Gary.
Source of comedy, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the joke. That's so funny for a guy that actually went to prison. That's hilarious. That's funny.
Yeah. The whole point of this scene is that Matt's trying to get him a good deal, and he has quite a few good deals lined up. And the guy's saying, dude, I've been fucked over my whole life. Why should I take a deal?
And it's a moment
That's the whole argument.
And the entire point of this, before I go, the entire point of this is to change Matt's perspective on why he's a lawyer. Because he's been struggling with it the whole season. And this guy comes along and Matt thinks he's doing the right thing. And then he realizes that he's a cog in the wheel of a system that he doesn't agree with. And then that, combined with the argument that he has with Frank Castle, flips his mind around and convinces him to go back out and start doing what he was doing before. That is called understanding the context of the media you're consuming. That's what this is about.
The reason Gary's putting so much effort into undermining this scene is because of the effect it literally had on me. It took me by surprise how I was watching. I was like, dude, why is he being like this? It's a good deal.
Yeah, I was like, man, Matt's doing a good lawyer, man. He's giving you some good deals.
And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, okay, yeah.
That's what he makes his points like,
hearing what he's actually saying to Matt Murdock in the scene, and they're going, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's
and the best thing about it is they characterize the guy that's arrested, I can't remember his name now, but they characterize him enough that you can understand where he's coming from. But also, it's to serve Matt's story.
Yes.
So you get a genuine character who has a genuine problem. You have Matt's story being pushed forward because of this. And also, it's a good flip on the head for us, the viewers. So I don't understand what the argument is here. Why it's one of the worst. Why is it one of the worst scenes in the MCU? Is this where we read through the lines? Is this where am I putting words in their mouth? I'm just asking the question. Why would this scene be the worst scene in the MCU?
I personally hate it when characters learn and grow and develop. So I hate this scene.
I mean, Brock, I'm glad that you found other people besides Nerdrotic. I don't know about who that is, but like, you haven't found anybody that's unbiased. I hate to tell you, like, you just haven't. Because nobody's really unbiased. They might have different biases that you agree with, or you understand where their biases are coming from, and so you're okay with them. Nobody is unbiased because nobody's a fucking robot.
But I have to jump out of here. Anyway, I have to go to work. But everybody watching on my channel, stick around. I don't know. I guess you guys are going to do one more topic, probably.
Yeah, well, we should probably talk about Sinners after this.
Yeah. By the way, before I go, Sinners, I don't know if anybody else has seen it. Amazing. Ryan Coogler.
Agreed.
Great.
Fantastic.
Michael B. Jordan. Great. These guys are cowards for not talking about it. And that's my statement for now. Anyway.
Well, if you want to see people talk about it, I talk about it on my podcast. Eric, I assume you talk about it somewhere.
I talked about it I talked about it on Monday. I'm going to talk about it again tomorrow as well. So.
One thing I want to say real quick is that it seems like some of the early takes about Thunderbolts are coming out.
Yeah, they seem to be pretty positive. Yeah.
Looking pretty good.
It looks like fun. Like I'm not gonna lie, the advertising campaign I've seen for it, it's
funny.
Like,
sure it is fun, but the takes are focusing on how serious and like how like kind of darker it is in a way, shit like that. So
all right, I'll see everybody later. Keep watching on my channel. Be good. Don't get banned.
Don't get banned. All right. So Sinners is a film by Ryan Coogler, and everyone seems to be in agreement that it is a very good movie.
Yes, it was excellent. Yeah.
And these guys like Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic, and so on are always talking about how, well, we can't do anything original. Hollywood's just making, IP crap all the time and repeating stuff and remakes and blah, blah. Okay, to some degree that is true. I do want to see more original films made, like that put out into theaters and become a well-known, property that doesn't happen like it used to at all. Sinners is exactly what these guys are looking for. So you go to their channel to find the video about Sinners, and where's their video about Sinners? What's going on? What do you think about that, Bob?
I just thought I'd bring up Rotten Tomatoes here real fast because Rotten Tomatoes, I always want to say you got to take it with a grain of salt. This is just an aggregate, but like overwhelmingly, this is telling us that people who went to the theater liked it and critics liked it. Pretty overwhelmingly. And I went to the theater and I saw it. I thought it was excellent. I like the storyline. I like
spoiler alert for Sinners. I mean, it's I think it's partly in our marketing, or if it's not in the direct marketing, it's being talked about openly enough that I feel like it's not really a spoiler anymore. What is about halfway through becomes vampire movie, right?
Something like that. Yes. Probably the most similar movie I would say like it would be Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah. But I think Sinners handles it much more smoothly. Dusk Till Dawn feels like two really solid movies just kind of haphazardly shoved together. This one feels like the same movie.
It was. It's just two movies.
It's like good movies, but what the hell?
It's fun. But look, From Dusk Till Dawn is a fucking classic '90s, just like fun ass movie. It's got a perfect blend of Tarantino and fucking Rodriguez, because that's what it is. But yeah, it's two guys that, height of their game, going, let's make a fun ass vampire / gangster movie. This is a guy who doesn't have ever seemed to not been at the top of his game, being at the topper of his game, apparently.
Yeah, and, Sinners is there's kind of the gangster element to it, but it's not too heavily explored. It's about a couple of black guys who want to make their own business, to make their own nightclub, essentially, and make it be a big hit, have all the big musical artists. That's the thing. There's a huge musical numbers in this that are fantastic. Maybe not numbers. There's one that is just fucking amazing, though.
Yeah, I want to check out some of this guy's music. Hearing a lot of stuff about it.
There's great music in this movie. Michael B. Jordan, as Smoke and Stack, dual performance. What's awesome is that, like, they are distinctive characters. When you get used to it, like, they are very distinctive characters. He does a great job doing both of them.
This is a good point.
And
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say, this is overall this fantastic movie. I don't want to spoil too much. Yes, there are vampires, which were teased in the trailer, but yes, there are very much vampires here. And not get into spoilers, but like, there's definitely woke stuff in this movie, undeniably.
I mean, it's literally Jim Crow era Southern United States with a couple of black guys like trying to set up their lives apart from all of the systemic oppression that they face, right?
Yes.
This is woke as you get. It's literally where the term originated from, that era, and literally in blues music, in fact. So like it's a movie, the conditions that created the word woke in the first place. But like, yeah, so to what Lucifer's saying here, I mean, I'm sure if he had not been picked for Black Panther, I'm sure that whatever other studio would have grabbed him and he would have been on some path to essentially, be successful anyway. That just seems like the case, based on who built it. This goes against so many narratives, by the way, and that's why they won't talk about it in a positive way. I doubt they'll talk about it negatively. That's the thing, they can't. If they talk about it negatively, then there's going to be way too many people that have seen the movie that are going to go, wait a second, this is actually a really good movie, and you're saying that it's blah blah blah. But if they talk about it positively, well, there's going to be another segment of their audience that are going to think they're betraying them because the blacks in the movie and stuff.
So Gary Nerdotic is much more selective about what he covers. Critical Drinker usually covers the big movies of the week. He usually, like, there's a big movie of the week, he'll cover it. Now here's Sinners, the biggest movie out there right now, doing impressive numbers, especially for an original IP. Mickey 17 and Novocaine were also solid movies that came out earlier this year. Original IPs didn't do nearly as well. I think they did make number one their box office week, but didn't do nearly as well.
I heard Mickey 17 wasn't good though.
I enjoyed Mickey 17 thoroughly, but yes, I could see people getting upset because that movie does not hide its politics whatsoever. This is just a search on YouTube. Critical Drinker Sinners. What does he say about it? Is there a live stream edit at least? Does he do a video on it? There is nothing.
I bet
there's Jeremy Johns.
Over the next couple of days, I bet they'll get something out. They'll figure out how to address it in a tight kind of way.
It is undeniably, if you know the story, it's undeniably woke. It is undeniably loved at this point. It is successful. It's meeting all the metrics, but it's also woke, that they like to say is objectively good. Hey, Chris Tuckman has the balls to cover it, guys. Come on.
Well, because he doesn't talk about movies he doesn't like, so he must have liked it. He's simping for the studios.
And that was the closest thing to a Chud coverage I could find was Grace Randolph. I'm like, she's not a Chud. She's just an idiot, guys.
Meanwhile, Ryan Coogler
yeah. But yeah, I just find the silence on this movie unbelievably interesting.
Oh, they said it on X, which is where everybody goes to hear their opinions on movies. Right?
Yeah, that's where they post their movie reviews on X. Because Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker are famous X users, right? That's what they're known for, right?
Yeah. If this was, they're X-tubers. Don't go look at that. If they were sincere, honest film reviewers or whatever, then they would make it, and then maybe they didn't like the movie. Make a video about that. If you do, then they would need to explain why this doesn't go, like just literally fit all the check all the boxes of what they often say is woke or whatever. What was it? The Woman King was there was that. There's anything basically that has a black lead in it. They've pre-called it woke before the movie ever even came out.
I mean, there's actually a great example on Nerdrotic's channel right now. Let me bring it up right now. So he didn't do a video on Sinners, but you know what? He did make sure to do a video on that freaking G20 movie.
Yep, several. That's because he talked about it whenever the trailers came out too.
It's like, who cares?
And look, he's talked about how Snape is going to be black. So that's clearly bad, right? That's a bad thing.
He's done
also black
3
Captain
Snow White
America.
videos.
What does he say? Captain African America?
I'm sure he does.
You're right. There's no such thing as woke. That's true.
I mean, that is
it was in the original context of how it was originally created. There absolutely was, but since it was co-opted by the right and people like Nerdrotic and used to mean anything, yeah, it has been, dissolved of use.
And look at that. His negative review of Born Again is doing quite a bit better than his positive review of Born Again. That's
weird.
Interesting.
Well, guess he decided that he wanted to get squeeze a little bit more juice out of that, so he had to do his negative one. But he didn't make that, earlier on. Yep. Well,
it's all very telling.
And then, of course, the other story of this, which maybe we'll go into more next week or something. I don't know. But like, you should talk about it. I don't know if you're going to stream tomorrow, Bob, but it's an angle you could look at if you wanted. The fact, like Variety and all these the traditional outlets coming out and saying, okay, it's people like it, but it hasn't recouped its cost yet. You know what I mean? Like this,
which is weird. I've never even looked up the budget on it. All I know is that it's a good movie.
Well, check this out. Man Carrying Thing summed all this up for us right here.
Oh, sir, did you see that Ryan Coogler's original vampire movie scared up $60 million at the box office this weekend? It's the biggest opening for an original movie this decade.
Oh, okay.
This is insanely impressive, don't you think?
Yeah, it's cool and all. I'm happy for them. By the way, how much did it cost?
Roughly $90 million.
Oh!
Last time I checked, 60 million is less than 90 million. They've got a ways to go until they're profitable.
It's been 1 week.
Yeah, still should be a warning to us studio heads that original movies are risky. You're always complaining that no one's seeing original movies, and now they are. I'm just saying maybe we shouldn't be giving young directors $90 million and ownership of their own intellectual property. It sets a bad precedent.
John Sony Pictures, what is this actually about?
Every day I have to shoot down a dozen awesome original ideas like Sinner so that I can dump another $50 million into the Captain Crunch Frosted Flakes crossover event movie starring Jack Black and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I know what people actually want to see. They want slop. Deep down, they know they want slop.
That is so cynical.
That's why I'm in charge. Me, John Sony Pictures.
So basically, you're just jealous of their success.
Yes.
And that's the other thing too, that like the deal that Coogler made for this movie is kind of unprecedented. And I mean, it happens with like, I don't know, maybe Nolan can make this kind of deal, but like the fact that he's doing that with his 5th film is crazy. But he also did manage. You could say that he kind of took advantage of a studio that's not doing so well right now in Warner Brothers. But yeah, so he gets, after 25 years, he owns this movie, which is nuts because studios love to own movies forever.
Yes.
Right? Like part of they just collect them like fucking Pokemon.
I mean, you look at like copyrights, and I think even the copyright law says like it's owned until like the artist dies, and then after a certain number of years after they die. And then I know there's like a law where there's like, except if it's Disney, because if it's Disney, it's actually fucking longer.
And he's, Coogler, I saw where he's kind of trying to downplay it a little bit because he's like, oh, look, this is kind of a one-off thing because of this, the substance of the film is about, black ownership in part. So like it makes, I'm like, okay, yeah. But also people are probably going to be asking for the Coogler deal from now on, whenever they make a deal with the studio.
Yeah.
And that, could go either way. It could cause them less movies to be made, but I doubt it because this is getting a lot of heat. And I'm really hoping this is a signal we're going to start seeing some, more mid-budget. $90 million is mid compared to what, typically put out these days. But just like awesome content. We need to see it. I want to see the theater revival. I want to see the medium budget film revival. And needs to happen.
And also, if you like, I will say this: if you guys want to see more original movies, you should go see them. There are good original movies that have come out this year, as there are every year.
I'm sure to see Superman when that comes out.
Yes, another original movie. Hey, it looks good. I'm excited to see it. But yeah, Sinners is excellent. Check it out.
Yeah, believe it or not, some of them weren't made by A24. What? A24 became like the Marvel of just like independent films or something. It's kind of bizarre.
Yeah. That is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try and. I mean, look, I would be embarrassed to admit that, but I'm gonna admit it. I got $100 in gift cards to Cinemark for Christmas. I still have those. I haven't used any of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
$100 in gift cards. That's enough to see 2 movies.
Right. I can almost see a full movie with it.
Whoa.
I mean, well, the reason is because I got, got 3 kids and stuff. And it's like when I went to go literally look up the total for all of us to go see a movie, it was like $78. And
dude, yeah.
I was like, holy fucking shit, dude.
If you get popcorn and shit, that it adds up so fucking fast.
Go to the comments sections of these posts and you see who their fan base is. Some even called the last 10 minutes race porn. Of what? The movie? That's fucking yeah. I mean, yeah, over on Twitter and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Are we talking about Sinners? Because I think that's a weird thing to call it, and I think if you have an objection to that, that says something seriously fucked up about you. But I can see why they would get offended by it. Very much so. Very much.
Having not seen it, I don't know what that entails, but I do want to say that. I didn't know.
I will say, Dane, it is something you will love when you watch it.
I will like it, or what?
Oh, yes, you will. Yes.
Okay. Is it about
absolute confidence?
Is it about Haley Steinfeld?
No.
Okay.
Though she does have a bit at the end. It's unrelated to what would really.
I mean, because like I was just looking around for pictures of this movie and stuff like that, and I came across. I didn't know, man. I just like she's always been cute, but like. Holy shit, man. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Yeah. She's growing up.
I mean, she like legit looks like a classic movie star there. It's crazy.
Absolutely. Did we have anything
Why don't they
else
want to talk about it? Because they don't know how to. It's too difficult. Oh, the KKK's in the movie. That's probably why. Because then they'd be like, well, the good guys lose. Or something.
Yeah.
I'm imagining, having not seen it, I don't know, but I'm going to take a guess that there's some cathartic moments with vampires and KKK members. I'm assuming, maybe?
No, the vampires and the KKK do not directly interact. Although, actually, no, so scratch that. There is a little bit with that. But no.
Seems like a missed opportunity.
It's mostly one of the characters going against the KKK. I won't call it a missed opportunity at all. Trust me. You will be satisfied with what they do with the KKK.
Cool. All right. That's about all I had, really. I mean, there's the fact that it's not really much to talk about, except they just haven't managed to, as of this morning when I was doing thumbnails anyway, they have not managed to successfully show their disdain of The Last of Us season 2 episode 2 on IMDb. That may change. They may manage to overwhelm the overwhelmingly positive response to the episode. Spoiler alert for that show, but if you know the spoilers of the second game, the big spoiler, they did that in the second episode. And if you remember when that game came out, even before it came out, because I think it leaked before the game actually came out, that was going to happen. And Chuds were unhappy, or at least they pretended to be. That's true. I mean, like look, Captain America has said in the comics pretty recently during the Dark Reign event, Captain America said he's known some vampires that are good people. He's never known a Nazi that's a good person.
Vampires can just be innocent victims who have fallen,
and they can choose to not take it out on people. They can choose to get their blood through non-harmful means and stuff like that. There's no way for a Nazi to not be a bad person. Period.
Yeah, that is something they chose.
But I mean, like moments like, where's it at? This kind of shit right here makes me want to see this movie. Oh damn, that's a small image. Why did I grab such a small one? But like Coogler knows how to shoot a movie, dude.
Oh yeah.
And Michael B. Jordan just looks cool doing anything, I think.
Yeah, that is right at the end, I believe. Yeah, there's the sun's out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just FYI, he's not dealing with vampires in that scene.
Oh god. Why is she engaging with the shit, or is she just like getting a lot of abuse? And maybe it was out of line, but I did make the thumbnail to kind of make fun of Chuds. Maybe I hope it came across why I made it the way I did. Let me see. I'll pull this up here. No? You see the arms? The arms?
Yeah. No, I mean they do
trying to better
over a
represent
muscular woman.
That's something that we, if we, I don't know how much time you got, but like Critical Drinker literally said in his review of the episode that, spoiler alert, Last of Us, that the woman that got to play Abby doesn't look anything like the one in the game because they couldn't find a human being a woman who's actually that large or something like that.
Which is completely inaccurate because I'm certain they could. I mean, they know female wrestlers exist, right? They're not small women. Yeah.
So Bob of the Old Way shared a picture. I'm assuming he's okay with this. This is his friend Claire. He says, "Let me download this shit."
So if you were,
that's a real person.
Yeah.
So the people that size actually do exist, and much larger even. Critical Drinker. He just doesn't like to imagine it because either he's too turned on by it or he's terrified by it. I don't know.
No, there are women who are ripped. That's even a better example than what I pulled up. So.
Maybe so. Probably so. Yeah. But, far be it from Drinker to be factual. That being said, I do have a clip to kind of go out on unless you wanted to.
No, I will be live tomorrow, guys. I have a poll up. This is for Saturday's stream, though. So I'll be live Thursday and Saturday. Hopefully both times this week. Got it planned. But we got what Marvel book should I cover on Saturday? Amazing Spider-Man #1's winning, but we also got Daredevil, Cold Day in Hell, Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe one last time, and Ultimate Wolf.
Sorry,
what was that? Huh? Not yet. No.
Okay. It's good.
I just thought it was a cool cover. I wasn't planning on getting it. Then I saw the cover. Well, it was one of the variant covers, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah. So you remember we looked at or maybe were you on with this when we looked at the excuses that Drinker was making for why his short film was bad?
I've seen them, but that was a week I was off, which is great. It's always good to blame your actors and talk about the context of production, which is like, dude, all productions go through that, bro.
How dare they have safety regulations for the workers you're
How dare they
hiring?
want to make sure the puddle of water their face is shoved into is safe? It's like, it's a show. You're not, come on, man.
Well, yeah, I'll be streaming Friday. I've got some cool stuff to debut on Friday. At least it's cool to me. I've been working on it in the background for quite a while. It is not what my content's typically about, but I've been working on music, and I want to share some of it Friday.
And not only will I stream Thursday, tomorrow, and then Saturday, but my Captain America video I'm going to plan to release on Sunday. So that will be coming out as well. If you're a member, you've already seen the rough edit.
Yeah. So I was, looking through some content the other day about Drinker. I found this little bit of just 20 seconds of content. This is him talking about the myth of the modern audience. Remember that?
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, as he's saying what he says here in this 20-second clip, it's like, oh, weird. Okay. So just think about his recent deflections and stuff.
A convenient scapegoat created by writers of these projects to deflect blame and criticism away from themselves. Because ultimately, the people they're really catering to are themselves. It's an excuse for them to indulge their own narcissism, to impose their own worldview, to undo the things that they don't like and replace it with stuff they personally want to see.
Wow.
Huh. That sounds like a self-report.
Weird. And then, yeah, there's this too.
Now we find out Sue is pregnant, obviously, with Franklin Richards. Now, I doubt she'll be showing throughout the film.
Yes, we are.
I know because I've bought the comics, read the comics, and sold the comics at the comic shop I own.
You're so full of shit.
That is
whoever does those random edits is awesome.
Yeah, the great Hippoclipped descended and from their mountaintop. Gave us that one. And then, yeah, so subscribe to all the channels in the thing down below. Do the thingy thing, clickety clack, hit that shit, smash it, like it, tickle it, poke it, lick it, whatever. And then also, Gary, you ought to read some comic books sometimes, man. You say you bought them, like you ought to read them because otherwise I'm just going to keep saying,
fuck you.
You know? And yeah. Here you go. Here's this.
For them to go, look at how popular we are when you've got all of these channels individually if they were popular, they should be able to fill a room like this without anybody else being on the panel. But that's not what they're doing. They always do everything together. It's the same way with their streams and their podcasts. You never see them individually doing things at this level. They would never use that as a metric. But here, a lot of their fans are going, look at how many people were in this room. Yeah, it's a lot of people there because you have 6 people on the panel.
No, not between them over 500K. We're talking about 2 million with Critical Drinker. We're talking about almost 500K with Eric July. We're talking about Jeremy Griggs has been making some gains in his sub count. I saw. No, he's got 400,000. Star Wars Theory has 3 million, something like that. So he's got a couple million.
Yeah, I mean we're talking about like 5 million ish.
Almost 5 million combined subscribers on this panel, and the best that they can do is it's a packed room. But it's also probably not it might be the biggest.
It is a modest look. I've been to a lot of conventions. This is a very modest room. This isn't when you see the rooms, like you go to like a room where they're doing Marvel stuff or whatever, it's like 4 times the size of a room like this. Like this room for me is one of the rooms you can get very easily. I hate to be that guy, but this is a room you can get very easily. It's one of the smaller rooms. If you come in and you go, we got 5 million subscribers, we need a room. We're influencers, whatever you want to call it, and they give you this room. This is the modest room. This is the room you give to people that you're like, we're cool. Here you go, take this room or whatever. That's what this is. This isn't anything.
Think about whenever you've seen like a Marvel panel or even something smaller than that, where like there's like a couple of actors for a TV show or whatever. This is what as they're coming out onto the panel, you got Drinker out there. Nobody's standing. There's no, if you think about the panel clips you've seen before of like stuff that's really popular or whatever, then you're going to see people fucking standing up, cheering for minutes on end. You know what I mean? Like there's no excitement in this room. Whether they're just not capable of producing it without, risking a coronary event. I don't know. These are several different YouTube channels represented here, especially Star Wars Theory is fucking massive.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying.
You can bring like, holy shit.
Exactly. This room should be 2 or 3 times the size.
Welcome to every video we make. We use one little thing and then we build the narrative out of it. Brie Larson says one thing and we make a whole video out of it. That's what we do.
Words are flowing out like woke Mary Sue, objective truth. They don't mean much, but nothing ever does across the grift of